नमस्कार। हम इस पेंटिंग के बारे में अभी चर्चा कर रहे हैं और इन्होंने ये बनाया, आपका नाम क्या है?
अमृता।
अमृता इनका नाम है। और इन्होंने ये जो थीम बनाया है ये एक अद्भुत रामायण है। अद्भुत रामायण में ऐसा वर्णन है जो राम जब रावण को मार करके आते हैं अयोध्या, तो वहाँ उनके बाँह पूजन पहले होता था। राजा जब किसी राज्य को जीत के आता था तो वहाँ बाँह पूजन की, अन्न पूजन की होती थी प्रथा। तो जब ये पूजा चल रही थी तो सीता को हंसी आ गई। तो उन्होंने कहा, राम ने पूछा उनसे, ये सब तो इन्हीं की माया थी, सीता की माया थी क्योंकि वो महामाया है। और उन्होंने उनको जब हंसी आ गई तो राम ने पूछा तो आपको हंसी क्यों आ गई? तो उन्होंने कहा, एक रावण को आपने मार के आया जिसका 10 सिर है, यहाँ तो 1000 बाँह वाले 1000 सिर वाला रावण बैठा हुआ है, उसको तो आपने मारा ही नहीं और कहते हैं वहाँ पूजा के लिए। तो कहते हैं ऐसा भी है। तो फिर वो जाते कहते हैं है किधर? तो कहते हैं दक्षिण दिशा में, जिधर रावण था उससे और दक्षिण कहीं गए। और कहाँ गए वो फिर पुस्तक की बात है। तो वहाँ जाते हैं राम, पहले सेना भेजते हैं तो सारी सेना उनकी मारी जाती है या मदहोश कर दिया जाता है, मतलब उनको स्थित प्रज्ञ हो जाता है। इसके बाद एवं लक्ष्मण जाते हैं, हनुमान जी जाते हैं, इनकी सारी सेनाएं चली जाती हैं और कोई भी वापस लौट के नहीं आता। तो सीता को अंत में चिंता होती है। तो राम भी गए, इसके जब सब चले गए तो फिर राम भी गए। राम भी जब वापस नहीं आए तो सीता क्रोधित हो गई कि ये क्या बात है, सब गए सब वापस नहीं आ रहे, और माया तो उन्हीं की थी। तो फिर ये गई है वहाँ, तो उन्होंने सबको देखा मूर्छित अवस्था में। तब इनको वो भद्रकाली का रूप एकदम धारण करके उग्र सबको देखा। और किसी को भी होगा नेचुरली, आप जब अपने सारे परिजन को उस स्थिति में देखेंगे तो वो जो भयंकर क्रोध हुआ उन्होंने भद्रकाली का रूप धारण कर लिया और उसके सारी भुजाएं और सारे से ये देख ली, उसको छत विच्छत कर दिया और उनको फिर मूर्छित अवस्था से छुड़ा करके ले आए। ये इस पेंटिंग के पीछे और ये थॉट के लिए मैं ये बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ।
And I'm the artist behind this painting. So as sir narrated beautifully the story in his words, this concept was given to me by Sita ma'am, who introduced me to the sculpture of Mehta. I really thank her first. And then I would like to add on to the story with the inner elements of the painting. So I've tried to show the duality of energies in this painting. So as you can see, she's ruling the sky and the land. She's ruling over that, and then she's adorning sun and moon. And even in the color schemes, I've tried to bring red and blue, the hot, the cold, all these energies. So as you can see, the duality of energy and in life, the dichotomy has always been in existence, and they have run parallelly. So this concept I am trying to bring through this painting. And also I would like to add on one more thing. I would call this Sita's Vishwaroop. Vishwaroop is not something that is shown. It is what you see. To my eyes, she is the entire universe. That is what I have tried to bring in this painting. Thank you for the opportunity.
नमस्कार, आपका नाम?
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम संजीव कुमार है। मैं स्वर्गीय कृष्णानंद ठाकर पुत्र हूँ।
कहाँ से आप?
मधुबनी, बिहार से।
अच्छा, मधुबनी पेंटिंग जहाँ का ओरिजिनल हुई है। तो बताइए इस पेंटिंग, तांत्रिक पेंटिंग के बारे में।
ये तांत्रिक कंसेप्ट इसको एक्चुअली बोल नहीं सकते हैं, लेकिन ये मैंने यहाँ सीता जी बनाया है। ये मैंने सीता जी बनाया है।
अच्छा।
क्योंकि ये वैदेही एक ये शायद अभी ये जो एग्जीबिशन आप देख रहे हैं, ये शायद का एग्जीबिशन है जिसमें कलाकार ने एक थीम पे अपने अपने विचारों पे पेंटिंग बनाया है। तो ये भी एक सत्ता मैम की परिकल्पना थी। तो इतने कलाकार एक विषय पे एक साथ पेंटिंग लगाए और सबके अपने नाम के साथ यहाँ पेंटिंग लगा हुआ है। ये एक विशेषता है और ये सत्ता मैम की परिकल्पना थी। दूसरी बात, ये मैंने
बताइए।
ये मैंने सीता जी का चित्रण किया। इसके बाद ये सिंबल है, यंत्रा इसको बोलते हैं। जैसे हम पूजा करते हैं तो बीच में मेन देवी की पूजा होती है और उसके जैसे यहाँ 6 कोण हैं तो 6 कोणों में अलग देवता देवी की पूजा होती है। फिर ये त्रिभुज है, उसमें अलग देवी देवता की पूजा होती है। इसीलिए यही इसकी प्राथमिकता है और इसीलिए ये यंत्र कहलाता है, इसमें पूजा होती है। और इसके साथ ये जब दोनों रहेगा तो तांत्रिक पेंटिंग ऑटोमेटिक इसको कहा जाएगा। अब ये इन्होंने नॉर्मल लाइफ में एक नारी के रूप में अवतरित किया। यहाँ मैंने दिखाया ये सीता एक नारी के रूप में है। इसके बाद मैंने दिखाया धनुष टूटा हुआ है और ये इनकी शादी हो गई है। शादी के बाद इन्होंने, इनका वनगमन होता है, वनगमन में ये लक्ष्मण जी जो हैं तो ये 3 रेखा खींच रहे हैं, और वो कहा जाता है चूँकि उन्होंने लक्ष्मण रेखा को पार किया इसलिए इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स उनके आई। इसके बाद मैंने दिखाया जो चूँकि इन्होंने लक्ष्मण रेखा लांघा, माने सांसारिकता में जो इनको कहा गया इन्होंने नहीं किया, उसका उल्लंघन कर दिया, जिसके कारण इनको रावण आया और हर के ले गया। तो ये रावण हर के ले गया, अपने को बहुत प्रतापी, बहुत ताकतवर समझता था, तो सीता को हर के ले गया, लेकिन उसका परिणाम उसको ये भुगतना पड़ा, जो अंत में ये मारा जाता है। तो ये है ह्यूमन लाइफ साइकिल जो इस देवी ने दिखाया। अब है इनका, अब ये देवी जो है वो बहुत शक्तिशाली है, प्रकृति की जननी है, सब कुछ इन्हीं से क्रिएट होता है और सब इन्हीं में समाहित होता है। तो ये थी को अब आता है ह्यूमन बिहेवियर में, एक साधारण आदमी को अपनी सीमा में रहनी चाहिए, अगर आप सीमा पार करते हैं तो परिणाम आपका ये। और ये थी कौन और कितनी शक्तिशाली थी, तो यहाँ मैंने महाकाली का चित्र किया है, और उसमें मैंने दिखाया है ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश इनके त्रिनेत्र हैं, उन्हीं के माध्यम से पूरे संसार का संचालन करते हैं, संहार करते हैं और विनाश करते हैं, ये मैंने दिखाया। इसके बाद मैंने यहाँ दिखाया ब्रह्मा जी हैं, ब्रह्मा जी के साथ ये जो सरस्वती बैठी हुई है ये भी यही है, और ये विष्णु जी हैं, इनके साथ जो लक्ष्मी बैठी हुई है ये भी यही है, ये महादेव हैं, इनके साथ भी यही रूप में सत्य रूप में यहाँ बैठी हुई है, ये अर्धनारीश्वर है, इन्हीं का दूसरा रूप है। अब ये दोनों यहाँ समाहित हो गए, एक में आ गए, ये राधा कृष्ण है, वे ये राधा भी यही है। इसके बाद मैंने दिखाया ये महिषासुरमर्दिनी दुर्गा भी यही है, ये महालक्ष्मी है, और इसके बाद मैंने ये महाकाली का चित्र किया। तो एक ही प्रकृति हर रूप में अवस्थित होकर के संसार में ये काम कर रहा है। धन्यवाद। यही है मेरी।
नाम क्या है मैम?
नीतू गुलाटी।
अच्छा, कहाँ से है?
दिल्ली।
तो क्या पेंटिंग का थीम है आपका, बताइए।
10 अवतार।
10 बोलिए।
In this painting, I have tried to show 10 avatars of Sita ji. Here, it is being shown in according to Amish's book that she is being protected by Garuda when she is very small. In second, she is worshipping Lord Shiva's Trishul, Lord Shiva's Dhanush, that is Pinaka. Second, she is learning fighting skills to protect Janakpuri from all the demons and outsiders. In next, she is, this is Sita's Ram Sita Swayamvar when they are getting married in the this is the compassionate scene. Then here she is looking food when she is living in exile with Ramji and Lakshmanji. This is where she becomes very stubborn that she needs this deer because his deer is so beautiful and sends Ramji to get it. Then after the war, when she has to prove herself that she is poised, she has to go through a free pariksha. Then after, in this I have shown that when Ramji listens to the washerman and sends her again to the exile, she is so devastated and she is really taken aback. Here when she is a mother and she is teaching Love Kush the lessons of life. But again after some time when they go to Lord Rama, they catch Lord Rama's horse in Ashwamedh Yagya, they have a fight and then they come to know that Lord Ram is their father. She again goes to Mother Earth and just prays that she should take her back into her lap.
Ma'am has also witnessed some amount of emotional outbursts because she has actually seen the process. Yet we are not yet done with her. And please know, right? She is living. She is still amongst us. It's just that we have to explore her afresh, reinterpret Sita, and her life, her determination, her grace, her dignity. The way she fought against all odds, yet she had the last word, I think. She was a philosopher, right? She was a thinker. She decided things on her own terms, and this is very significant for us, right? So, ma'am would say, we'll take over.
तो कम से कम इस मधुबनी पेंटिंग में सेटिंग था, कोई एजुकेट आप तो बहुत लोग बना रहे हैं, लेकिन हम यही चाहेंगे अभी आप लोग नहीं वो क्लेम करें, जब बात कंप्लीट हो जाए तो फिर संपत्ति आपकी। अब हम मिटा दें इसको। ये जो स्पेस है, ये जो स्पेस है, ये जो स्पेस है, इसमें आप ऐसा भी भूकूट का वर्णन है और एक दूसरे तरह के भूकूट का वर्णन है इसमें।
आपका नाम?
संजना से
तो कहाँ से आए आप?
दरभंगा बिहार नेशनल
थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए। हाँ।
नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मिथिला आर्ट की तरफ से मैं आई हूँ।
हाँ।
और मैं दरभंगा बिहार से हूँ। माय नेम इज संजना सिंह।
हाँ।
और मेरे संस्थान के 50 से 60% स्टूडेंट की आर्ट यहाँ लगी पड़ी है।
अच्छा, इस एग्जीबिशन में आए हैं?
हाँ, आए हैं, जो आप लोगों को शायद इनके थ्रू दिखाई देगी, क्योंकि इन्होंने सब आर्ट की फोटो बहुत क्लोजिंग से ली है।
हाँ, बहुत सुंदर बनाई है, मैंने पेंटिंग देखी ना, बहुत सुंदर पेंटिंग बनाई है।
सब पास आउट स्टूडेंट हैं। हम लोग के संस्थान में 6 मंथ की कोर्स किया जाता है।
आपने कब संस्थान ज्वाइन किया था?
मैं 2019 में संस्थान ज्वाइन की हूँ।
अच्छा अच्छा।
और मेरे संस्थान में 6 मंथ की कोर्स होती है, जो 2 घंटे की क्लास होती है एवरीडे।
अच्छा,
एवरीडे। और इसमें सिर्फ मिथिला पेंटिंग बहुत बारीकी से हर टीचर, मेरे टीचर भी यहाँ आए हैं, हर बारीकी से सिखाया जाता है और उनके बारे में बताया जाता है। उस पेंटिंग की क्या खूबी है, मिथिलांचल में उस पेंटिंग की क्या महत्व है, ये सारा चीज़।
ये कब शुरू हुई थी ये मिथिला आर्ट?
ये मिथिला आर्ट शायद शुरू बहुत सालों पहले ही हुई थी। शायद जब सीता माता करते थे।
नहीं रहने दीजिए, कोई बात नहीं।
सीता माता के बाद से ही शायद मिथिला पेंटिंग था, लेकिन ये शुरू शायद मधुबनी से हुआ था। वहाँ कोई थे जो शादी विदेश से आए थे, वो देखे कि ये पेंटिंग बहुत बेहतरीन है, इसका पहचान होना चाहिए। मधुबनी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में वो पर्सन रहते थे।
जनकपुर में भी होती है, मैं यहाँ सूरजकुंड मेले में देखा था, गोदी में।
तो उसके बाद धीरे धीरे इस पेंटिंग का बहुत नाम होते गया। अब तो घर घर में ये पेंटिंग होती है।
हाँ,
नहीं हो
मेरे पास कई हजार पेंटिंग है मेरे कलेक्शन में, मतलब मेरे अपने पर्सनल कलेक्शन में, जो मैंने बहुत सालों से खरीदी है।
ये पेंटिंग बहुत बारीकी है और
हाँ।
बहुत अच्छी है। इससे क्या होती है, जो औरतें बाहर नहीं जा पाते,
हाँ,
जो औरतें बाहर जा नहीं पाते, वो लोग घर बैठे उपार्जन कर सकते हैं। और इसका एक पहचान है।
हाँ।
जो माता सीता ने छोड़ के गए, उसके बाद हमने
नहीं, हमारे कल्चर को भी जीवित रखा है इसने,
जीवित रखा है।
इसलिए
ये पेंटिंग बहुत खूबी है, क्योंकि मैंने 2019 में जब संस्थान ज्वाइन किया, मैंने देखा यहाँ के टीचर कितनी बारीकी से सिखाते हैं, उनको बताते हैं। और फिर हम लोग हर स्टेज में देखते हैं कि औरत कहीं ना कहीं दब जाती है, होने के बाद भी, शादी के बाद भी। लेकिन इस आर्ट से हम लोग हर सिचुएशन को दर्शा सकते हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि खाली मिथिला पेंटिंग करे और छोड़ दे। हर प्रॉपर तरीके से हर आर्ट को हम लोग मिथिला पेंटिंग में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं और बता सकते हैं। जैसे कोविड हुआ तो घर घर सब डरे हुए थे कि नहीं, लेकिन मिथिला पेंटिंग में हम लोग वो भी दर्शाए कि कोविड से डरना नहीं है, हम लोग कैसे लड़ सकते हैं। तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है ये पेंटिंग, इसकी बारीकी भी। और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि ये कहीं ना कहीं हम सबको जोड़े हो एक दूसरे से।
वही हम कह रहे हैं कि हमारे आर्ट कल्चर को जोड़ के रखा है इसने, इसलिए
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा।
तो अभी तक आपने अंदाज से कितने स्टूडेंट्स को ट्रेन किया है इस पेंटिंग के?
2019 से है। एक क्लास में 20 से ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट नहीं रहते हैं। तो अभी 21 सेशन चल रही है, मतलब 20 तो इतना 20 करके गिनेंगे तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट हैं। अच्छा। और बेहतरीन बात यह है कि यहाँ एज की कोई प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है।
अच्छा, एज कोई बार नहीं है।
10 साल से लेके 75 ईयर्स तक सब कोई सीख के पास आउट होके और एक पहचान बना रहे हर स्टेट से।
ये तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, मतलब कि एज कोई बात नहीं है।
क्योंकि क्या होती है, सबको सोचते हैं कि बच्चे को क्यों दे आर्ट सीखना, उनको आता नहीं है। लेकिन ये प्लेटफॉर्म ही है कि इनको सीखना। जैसे हम लोग बच्चों को तोड़ मोड़ के सिखाते आज एक जगह खड़ा है, ये भी आर्ट वैसी है। पेंसिल वर्क से शुरू होकर फिर कलर, कपड़े, दुपट्टा, सब चीज़ों में जाते हैं। तो एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है जो हम लोग चल सकते हैं।
इसमें कितनी फीस लेते हैं एक स्टूडेंट से?
6 मंथ की कोर्स की फीस है 13,500।
अच्छा।
एंड एडमिशन चार्ज है 1000। जो लड़की एक टाइम पेमेंट करते हैं संस्थान को,
उनको 1000 स्कॉलरशिप दिया जाता है।
अच्छा।
और बहुत लड़की मतलब घर के तो उसको 4 इंस्टॉलमेंट में दिया गया है कि फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट, सेकेंड इंस्टॉलमेंट, 4 इंस्टॉलमेंट।
हाँ, जो गरीब लोग बेचारे नहीं भर सकते।
मतलब किसी के द्वारा ये आर्ट नहीं होता। एंड देन 6 मंथ कोर्स खत्म होने के बाद एग्ज़ाम होती है, एक माउंट टेस्ट होती है और फाइनल एग्ज़ाम होती है। उसके बाद
एग्जाम में पेंटिंग बनाने को कहते होंगे आप, थीम देके।
6 मंथ के कोर्स में भी पेंटिंग एंड फाइनल एग्जाम में भी एक थीम पेंटिंग, जैसे यहाँ सारे स्टूडेंट एक अपने तरीके से थीम पेंटिंग बना के लाए।
तो आपके कितने स्टूडेंट्स आए हैं यहाँ पर? क्योंकि उनकी पेंटिंग है।
स्टूडेंट हैं जिसमें सबकी आटे है, मेरे टीचर की भी आटे है,
हाँ।
चंद्रकला मैम, भगवान सर।
तो आपकी पेंटिंग भी लगी है इसमें?
हाँ, मेरे संस्थान के सभी स्टूडेंट की पेंटिंग लगी है अधिकतर, क्योंकि उनकी नामें मैंने देखा है बोर्ड में, सविता मैम लगाई है।
हाँ।
ये प्लेटफॉर्म तो मैम ने भी दिया संस्थान।
बहुत अच्छा लगा कि हमारे आर्ट को जीवित रखने के लिए ये इंस्टीट्यूट आपका बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है। हमारी शुभकामनाएं आपके साथ है। अच्छा अच्छा, कुर्ता है, कुर्ता है
जो गर्मी में पहने।
ये सिल्क का है, सिल्क का है,
कॉटन का है।
अच्छा।
और इसकी दाम 2000 है। आप सोचोगे 2000 बहुत महंगा है, जबकि हम लोग
लेकिन मेहनत बहुत है ना आर्ट की।
जब से हम लोग जेन्युइनली हम सबको देखे हैं, ये चीज़ आप लोग भी देखे होंगे, जब हम लोग रोड से सामान करते हैं तो बार्गेनिंग करते हैं।
हाँ।
लेकिन मॉल में जाते चाहे वो 5000 का ही हो,
वो बार्गेनिंग होती नहीं वहाँ पे, इसलिए करते
नहीं करते। लेकिन इसमें आप लोग को मेहनत देखना चाहिए। ये खरीदा है, उसके बाद जो ये पेंटिंग है वो जो भी किए हैं ऊपर से बहुत मेहनत से किए कि इसमें वो पेंटिंग दर्शाया है।
बल्कि हमें सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, इससे क्या कि हमारे आर्टिस्टों को और वो मिलेगा।
करते हो और मॉल में अगर 20 रुपये का कोल्ड ड्रिंक हो, अगर 50 रुपये टैक्स लगा के जोड़ रहे हैं तो 50 रुपये का आप लोग खरीद लेते हो। मेरा कहना ये है, मॉल खरीदो, बाहर खरीदो, दैट्स नॉट मेरा पॉइंट, वो आपकी चूज़ है, आपके पैसे हैं। लेकिन अगर कोई ऐसी पेंटिंग आप लोग खरीद रहे हो, बेच रहा है, उनकी थोड़ी सी मेहनत आप लोग ध्यान दो, कपड़ों और मेहनतों में ध्यान दो, क्योंकि वो लोग बहुत मेहनत से ये बनाते हैं।
और सबसे बड़ी बात है आप लोगों ने इस आर्ट को जीवित रखा है, नहीं तो आर्ट कल्चर जो है हमारा।
ये बैग है, जेन्युइनली आप लोग बैग खरीदोगे तो 5000 ब्रांड होना चाहिए।
हाँ।
अगर कोई भी चीज़ का ब्रांड लग जाता है तो आप लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़ी इशू नहीं है कि खरीद लो भाई ब्रांड है।
हाँ।
लेकिन ब्रांड के साथ मेहनत भी देखना चाहिए, उसमें कोई मेहनत नहीं हो तो बेसिक से बन के आ गया, ब्रांड लग गया।
हाँ।
लेकिन इसमें देखिए कितनी बारीकी से लेडीज लोग बनाती हैं।
ये कितने का है?
ये आपकी आती है 800।
हाँ तो ठीक है, रीजनेबल है बहुत। आर्ट भी है प्लस बैग भी है।
पूरा एक बारीकी दर्शाती है और औरतों की मेहनत होती है। और ये कॉटन बैग और ये सारे कुर्ते, ये धोती हम लोगों के मैथिली में, आप लोगों को तो पता नहीं शादी में पहनते क्योंकि आजकल तो शेरवानी, ये हम लोग के मैथिली में शादी ब्याह में पुरुष हो मतलब यंग हो धोती पहनते, उस धोती में ऐसे आर्ट किया गया है। बॉर्डर है और ये पूरा धोती है जो हम लोग शादी ब्याह में हल्दी लगा के पहनाते हैं।
अच्छा, हल्दी लगाने के बाद सब जगह सिस्टम तो वही है। मैं मध्य प्रदेश से हूँ तो हमारा मध्य प्रदेश का, बिहार का कल्चर सब एक ही है।
ये साड़ी है सिल्क की और ये फुल वर्क है। सिल्क की साड़ी आप लोग अगर पहनते हो तो बहुत कॉस्टली होती है। सिल्क ऑलरेडी कॉस्टली चीज़ है।
थोड़ा सा खोल के वैसे ही, हाँ, पन्नी बन कर बस ऐसे। हाँ।
और ये फुल वर्क है।
अच्छा अच्छा।
इसमें एक पेंटिंग की फुल वर्क है।
अरे बहुत सुंदर है।
आंचल फुल वर्क है, बॉडी फुल वर्क है। ये डोली का हार बना है।
अच्छा।
इस पेंटिंग का कॉस्ट है 9000। साड़ी और पेंटिंग चार्ज मिला के 9000। ये डोली का हार।
अच्छा, डोली आर्ट बोलते हैं।
डोली का हार मतलब डोली जो ले जाते कहार।
हाँ, डोली ले जाते हैं ना कहार लोग। अब तो ये सिस्टम अब भी है, अभी अब नहीं है ना।
अरे जो आजकल जेन्युइन हो गया कि बहन के लेके जाओ, बस
हाँ।
लेके जाओ शादी तक, अब तो होती है।
हाँ। कहार लोग बेचारे इतने कंधे पे रख के इतनी दूर तक ले जाते थे।
ले जाते। ये पेन स्टैंड है, ये इसके लकड़ी के है। देन उसके ऊपर हम लोग मिथिला पेंटिंग किए, कहीं मछली है, कहीं शंख है, कहीं कमल है।
मेरे पास कई पेन स्टैंड है जो उसके कागज के लुगदी के बनाते हैं ना।
एंड ये पर्स है जिस इसमें हम लोग हैंड पर्स बोल सकते हैं, जो जेन्युइनली हम लोग मार्केट जाते हैं तो लेते हैं। ये 400 रुपये की है। इसमें पेंटिंग देख लीजिएगा बारीकी से, बहुत बारीकी पेंटिंग होती है। और ये जूट की पर्स है।
जूट की पर्स हाँ बहुत अच्छी लगती है मुझे। मैं तो जूट की पर्स बहुत पसंद करता हूँ। लेदर से जूट की पर्स ज़्यादा अच्छी है।
और ये तकिया का खोल है।
तकिया कवर
5 कवर है।
इसको दे दीजिए। हाँ
सामान मिथिला पेंटिंग के ले रहे हो तो बार्गेनिंग के लिए नहीं सोचो, क्योंकि सामान
आर्ट तो अनमोल।
आर्ट की कोई
यही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, अनमोल है आर्ट तो।
बड़ी बात है, इसमें सारी आर्ट है ना, हम लोग की कल्चर को दर्शाते हैं। तो कल्चर की कोई कॉस्ट नहीं मुझे लगता है। कल्चर तो कल्चर होती है ना, तो कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग बाहर कंट्री में रहने लगे और खोने लगे। और 16 तारीख मतलब ये है कि मेरे संस्थान में सारे स्टूडेंट का आर्ट जो आप लोग देखते हो, मेरे संस्थान में 50+ स्टूडेंट के आर्ट यहाँ आया है। संस्थान की स्टूडेंट ने नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मिथिला आर्ट दरभंगा में लगाने के लिए हम लोग टीचर के सारे प्रोडक्ट
बहुत खुशी हो रहा है कि हम सब एते दूर से लिए बहुत खुशी लाग रहा है, बहुत नीक लाग रहा है। अहाँ सब एते प्रमोट कर रहल छै, मेहनत कर रहल छै मिथिला मैथिली के लिए। कभी भी हम सब जैसा नहीं बिल्कुल अभी मुझे एक दिने जो साउथ इंडियन क्या वो कह रहे हैं, मुझे लग रहा है कि इसको मैं लेके अपने यहाँ साउथ में जाऊँ, ये बहुत बड़ा खजाना है। तो मतलब ये चीज़ सुनकर जिनको
मेरे स्टूडेंट के पापा।
अच्छा हाँ, तो वो कह रहे थे कि ये एक खजाना है मिथिला पेंटिंग, मुझे लग रहा है मैं इसको साउथ में ले जाऊँ और हम सब क्या लेकर प्रमोट करके ना। बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हम सब साथ थी, आपके 100% साथ थी।
ये है मैम पेंटिंग है।
बताइए एक बारे में।
एक मृत्युंजय मंत्र का है और एक गणेश जी का है।
ये मृत्युंजय मंत्र है और ये गणेश। सबसे बहुत ही पेंटिंग एक करोड़ का खराब हो रहा है। आप समझो लाइफ में
पूरा मंत्र है, मृत्युंजय मंत्र दर्शाया गया।
अच्छा इसमें पूरा मृत्युंजय मंत्र शॉपिंग चल रहा है। गोलू जी जो दे रहे हैं वो भी बहुत अच्छा है।
मेरे स्टूडेंट सब बैठ के ले रहे हैं, मैंने देखा है।
हाँ। तो चलिए फिर मिलेंगे लाइव में।
थैंक यू, धन्यवाद। ये दोनों ही तांत्रिक पेंटिंग है। एक में मृत्युंजय मंत्र दर्शाया गया है और एक में श्लोक है।
गणेश वाला कौन सा है?
ये गणेश जी है।
अच्छा इसमें क्या है? इस पेंटिंग में क्या दीदी?
इसमें गणेश जी का श्लोक दर्शाया गया है तांत्रिक पेंटिंग में।
अच्छा श्लोक दर्शाया।
हाँ ये देखिए।
क्या है श्लोक बोल सकते हैं आप? क्या है
ये? नमो विष्णु भगवान के जो श्लोक है ना, वो
हाँ।
श्लोक मुझे नहीं उतनी आती है क्योंकि तांत्रिक पेंटिंग
हाँ।
मुझे नहीं आती है।
हाँ।
लेकिन जिन्होंने बनाया है उन्होंने इस आर्ट में ये 2 चीज़ दर्शाई। एक चीज में
किसने बनाया ये
संजय कुमार जायसवाल, तांत्रिक पेंटिंग के बहुत बड़े आर्टिस्ट है, टीचर है, जो हम लोग के संस्थान से जुड़े हुए हैं।
कोई बात नहीं।
आए हैं वर्कशॉप पे लगने के लिए, सेट करने के लिए बोला
और गोलू जी यही है क्या?
नहीं, गोलू जी मैंने नाम सुना, मैं उनको नहीं जानती। जैसे
नहीं अभी सुबह मिला था।
हाँ अभी जस्ट मैंने सुना, एक लेडीज ने मुझे बोला कि उन्होंने तांत्रिक मीटिंग, मैं उनको
ट्रेनिंग
नहीं जानती
अभी दे रहे थे।
लेकिन मैं संजय सर को बहुत अच्छे से जानती हूँ, उनको तांत्रिक की सब चीज़ें आती है। और ये चीज़ बहुत शुभ है, ये घर में रखने से हम लोग की शुभ
अच्छा बुरी आत्माएं वगैरह
चीज़ें आती है, नेगेटिविटी नहीं आती है। और मैंने गोलू सर का नाम दिल्ली में ही आके सुना है। वो मैं क्योंकि आज तो टीचर मिथिला पेंटिंग के बहुत सारे हैं, मैं हर आर्ट टीचर को सम्मान करती हूँ।
ले लीजिए उसको, आप गोदी में।
हर टीचर को सम्मान करती हूँ क्योंकि वो टीचर की सीट में बैठे हैं। डेफिनेटली चाहे वो कोई भी आर्टिस्ट टीचर हो, चाहे वो मिथिला पेंटिंग हो, तांत्रिक पेंटिंग हो, फोक आर्ट हो, क्योंकि वो टीचर की कुर्सी में बैठे तो मेरे लिए पूजनीय है। लेकिन मैं उनको नहीं जानती, मेरे सर को जानती हूँ, इसलिए मैं सर के आर्ट को दर्शाने आई हूँ।
तो आपने मैडम से ट्रेनिंग ली है? आपने मैडम से नहीं? अच्छा
मैम कोऑर्डिनेट करते हैं हमारे क्लास को।
अच्छा।
चंद्रकला मैम हमारे टीचर हैं।
हाँ हाँ
संजना मैम हमारी बहुत मदद करी।
अच्छा अच्छा।
और बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ ये सब चीज़ें देख के, दरभंगा जो है ये चीज़ें आ रही हैं उसको यहाँ पे देख के मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। बहुत ही
दरभंगा ये पटना से कितनी दूर है?
3 घंटा।
3 घंटे।
पटना से बाई बस 3 घंटा, बाई ट्रेन भी
100 किलोमीटर ऊपर होगा, नहीं 120।
3 घंटा का मतलब, हाँ यस सर, 100।
क्योंकि मैं पटना तक तो गया हूँ, सोनपुर मेला गया हूँ, गया खगड़िया, बहुत घूमा है मैंने बिहार।
दरभंगा, मधुबनी और समस्तीपुर
बस वो रह गया, वो एरिया मेरा रह गया।
नहीं गया तो कुछ भी नहीं गया।
हाँ।
उसके में ही समस्तीपुर है, मधुबनी है, दरभंगा, सीतामढ़ी है जहाँ
अच्छा।
जन्मभूमि है।
वो कितनी दूर है पटना से, कितनी दूर है?
आए थे सीतामा, तो वो सीतामढ़ी है, वो जो आप जयनगर से
नहीं, जन्मभूमि इंडिया में है कि ये जनकपुर को?
माँ की जन्मभूमि सीतामढ़ी है।
तो सीतामढ़ी है तो ये भारत में है?
हाँ, भारत में। और नेपाल में भी कुछ
नेपाल में बोलते हैं कि जनकपुर है।
जयनगर जो है ना, नेपाल के बॉर्डर में आते हैं, इसीलिए लोग बोलते हैं कि नेपाल में।
अच्छा, लेकिन है भारत में ही?
है भारत में।
हाँ वही।
तो आप लोग अगर नहीं आए तो आइए, देखिए।
नहीं आऊँगा।
और बारीकी से आप लोग फिल्म देखने मिलेंगे।
वो कुर्सी के ऊपर डाल।
आपका?
रमेश कुमार मंडल।
तो आप कहाँ से आए?
हम मधुबनी से, मेरा गांव कोयलक है।
अच्छा, तो ये कौन सा आर्ट है ये?
ये मधुबनी पेंटिंग है, मिथिला आर्ट से कहते हैं।
अच्छा, तो क्या थीम है इसका?
इसका थीम है सौराठ सभा। मिथिलांचल में एक गांव है सौराठ, जहाँ
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
मधुबनी जिला के एक गांव है सौराठ, मिथिलांचल का।
सौराठ?
सौराठ,
सौराज,
सौराठ,
सौराठ
जी
हाँ।
मधुबनी जिला के अंदर पड़ता है सौराठ गांव। और वो सौराठ सभा के नाम से विख्यात है।
सभा?
सभा मीन्स मार्केट। वहाँ दूल्हे का मार्केट लगता है।
दूल्हे का?
दूल्हे का मार्केट।
अच्छा।
पूरे विश्व भर में वह प्रसिद्ध है इसके लिए।
तो उसमें कैसा होता है, क्या खास कर?
वहाँ 15 दिनों का मार्केट लगता है दूल्हे का।
हाँ।
वहाँ लड़की पक्ष वाले जाते हैं और दूल्हा पक्ष वाले दोनों वहाँ आते हैं।
अच्छा।
लड़की नहीं जाती है, दूल्हा जाता है।
दूल्हा जाता
जिसको
है।
शादी करना रहता है,
हाँ।
वो वहाँ पर बजाते हैं।
ये मैं पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ, इसलिए आप अच्छे से बताइए।
धोती कुर्ता पहन के जो मिथिलांचल का आभरण है, आभूषण है, वो अपन दूल्हा जाते हैं।
हाँ।
और लड़की वाले वहाँ उनको पसंद करते हैं।
अच्छा।
पूछते हैं और पसंद हो गया तो उनको वहाँ से डायरेक्ट उठा के ले जाते हैं।
अच्छा।
हाँ, और वहीं से 5-7 बरियाती जाते हैं, साथ में बाराती जाता है।
हाँ।
और शादी हो जाती है।
अच्छा, ये मैं झाबुआ में था तो वहाँ एक वो भगोरिया हाट लगता है। वो भगोरिया हाट में वो लड़के भाग जाते हैं।
हाँ, नहीं वहाँ लड़की नहीं जाती है।
हाँ, वहाँ लड़की नहीं जाती।
लड़की के पेरेंट्स जाते हैं।
हाँ।
या पिताजी जाते हैं, गार्जियन जाते हैं। और लड़का वाले के पिताजी, सगी संबंधी और लड़का खुद जाते हैं वहाँ। और वहाँ से पसंद करके ले आ जाते हैं। यह प्रथा इसलिए अच्छा था वहाँ पहले। अब तो वहाँ पर शादी कम ठीक होता है, लोग जाते हैं अभी भी।
हाँ।
अभी भी कंटिन्यू है वो ट्रेडिशन। लेकिन वहाँ पर ये था कि पहले एक जगह लोग डोर टू डोर नहीं जाना पड़ता था दूल्हा खोजने के लिए।
हाँ हाँ।
एक मार्केट लगता था 10 से 15 दिनों का, और वहाँ जाते थे, वहाँ से पसंद करके लोग दूल्हा ले जाते थे। उसी को अपने चित्र के द्वारा मैंने दर्शाया है, मधुबनी पेंटिंग के द्वारा। हाँ, वहाँ का एक पीपल का पेड़, खास है, बड़ा सा वहाँ है। वो सब एक महादेव का मंदिर है, शिव जी का मंदिर, सब मैंने दर्शाया है। और वहीं पे मिथिला पेंटिंग का यूनिवर्सिटी बना है, उसको मैंने दर्शाया है। एक मकान होता है।
अच्छा, ये यूनिवर्सिटी आप बताते हैं?
ये यूनिवर्सिटी है।
हाँ, यहाँ से बताते हैं। ये यूनिवर्सिटी है ये।
हाँ।
और नीचे ये
शादी हो रहा है।
शादी जब दूल्हा ठीक के वहाँ से होता है ना, जब शादी फाइनल होता है तो वहाँ से डायरेक्ट दूल्हा बुलाया जाता है।
अच्छा, वहाँ से डायरेक्ट शादी करने चले जाते हैं?
हाँ, इसके सगी संबंधी रहते हैं।
हाँ।
तो 5 आदमी, 7 आदमी, 11 आदमी। पहले ज़माना में कम बाराती जाती थी, बहुत
हाँ।
कम बाराती जाती थी। और वहीं से डायरेक्ट वहाँ ले जाता है।
और दूल्हा का धोती कुर्ता पहन के वहाँ जाते हैं और वहाँ पर लड़की वालों के यहाँ परिछन होता है, हम लोग के यहाँ दूल्हा का परिछन होता है, द्वार लगते हैं और वहाँ से आंगन का दृश्य दिखाए हैं। उसमें आंगन का पूरा दृश्य बना हुआ है, दूल्हे का मंडप बना हुआ है, जैसे मिथिलांचल में
शादी में मंडप वगैरह जो बनता है। हाँ, ये मंडप है,
कलश रखा हुआ है,
और ये बीच में हाँ
ये बीच में मार्केट पूरा है, वर पक्ष कन्या पक्ष बहुत भीड़ रहता है।
अच्छा,
बहुत भीड़ वहाँ पर जब क्या कहते हैं वहाँ पर लगभग 10,000 15,000 आदमी आते हैं।
तो इतने
कोई देखने के लिए भी आते हैं।
हाँ,
सब लड़का ढूंढने के लिए, कोई देखने के
नहीं,
लिए।
करीब कितने लोग लड़के ढूंढने के लिए आते हैं 15 दिन में?
15 दिन में बहुत से फैमिली आते हैं, कम से
कितनी
कम
अंदाज?
लगभग 1,500-2 हज़ार से कम नहीं।
अच्छा, 1,500-2 हज़ार से कम।
जी, अभी भी लोग वहाँ जाते हैं देखने के लिए। अब लेकिन शादी कम होती है वहाँ से, क्योंकि लोग अब तो मोबाइल का युग है, लोग इधर से ही खाना कर, लेकिन अभी भी वो ट्रेडिशन है और अभी भी कम से कम 100-150 शादी वहाँ से ठीक होता है।
हाँ, एक साल में 100-150 शादी होता है।
आज गए, अगर आज पसंद नहीं हुआ, उनके बारे में पता नहीं चल रहा कि उनका घर परिवार कैसा है, तो ठीक है, 8वां दिन 5वां दिन 15 दिनों का वो रहता है।
लड़की भी जाती हो?
नहीं, लड़की नहीं
जाती है, खासी चीज।
लड़के को लेके जाते हैं?
हाँ, लड़का जाते हैं। वहाँ बड़ा सा कुआं है, कुआं वो बरगा इनार के नाम
तो
से
बिना लड़की को देखे हुए वो लोग पसंद कर लेते हैं?
हाँ, पहले के जमाना में क्या था, मिथिलांचल में लड़की नहीं दिखाया जाता था।
हाँ, लड़की नहीं दिखाई।
लड़की हाँ, उसमें क्या होता है, बर पक्ष वाले थोड़ा ठगा जाते थे।
अच्छा,
अगर लड़की कोई दिव्यांग है, विकलांग है, तो भी शादी हो जाती है।
तो भी हो जाती है।
हाँ।
अगर हाँ कर दिया है तो करनी है।
और लड़का भी अगर गरीब है, उसके पास प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है, तो वहाँ झूठ बोल के उसका भी शादी हो जाता था।
अच्छा,
दोनों तरफ वाले। तो 15 दिनों का टाइम रहता था। अगर आज हम गए वहाँ पता किए कि हाँ ये फलाने लड़का है, फलाने गांव का है, तो आज वापस आगे देख लिए और अपने रिलेशनों के द्वारा, अपने सगे संबंधियों के द्वारा वहाँ पता लगा लिए कि फलाने गांव का लड़का है, कैसा है।
था आपने
स्टेट अवार्ड एग्जाम में ये मैंने बनाया था।
अच्छा। तो ये कपड़े पे बनाया?
नहीं, कैनवास पे।
कैनवास पे।
बहुत सा गाना है दहेज प्रथा के ऊपर। जब शादी ठीक होती है तो दहेज प्रथा के ऊपर वहाँ लोग फ्री में भी शादी होता है, पैसा।
आपका नाम?
शुभम प्रिया।
तो कहाँ से आए आप?
गाँव से, मधुबनी जिला से।
अच्छा, थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए। हाँ, तो आप पेंटिंग ये कब से कर रहे हैं?
मैं पेंटिंग 10th जब पास कर गई तब से बनाती हूँ।
अच्छा। कितने साल हो गए?
करीबन
13 साल हो गए। तो अच्छा लगता है आपको पेंटिंग करना? अच्छा, क्या फ़ायदे हैं पेंटिंग करने के?
मुझे पेंटिंग से बहुत इंटरेस्ट है।
नहीं, लोगों को क्या फ़ायदे हैं आप बताएंगे तो शेयर हो जाएगा ना यूट्यूब चैनल पे।
अपना कला है, हम लोग बनाते हैं और उसको मार्केट में भी बेचते हैं।
हाँ। अब जैसे ये पेंटिंग, इसका क्या प्राइस है?
इसका प्राइस है 5500 रुपया।
कितना?
5500।
5500। ये क्या थीम पे बनाया आपने?
ये डोली का हार है।
अच्छा, कहार लोग डोली लेके शादी के बाद जो डोली लेके जाते हैं, दुल्हन को लेके जाते हैं, तो अभी भी होते हैं कहार लोग लेके जाते हैं अब?
गाँव में जाते हैं, लेकिन अब उतना नहीं है।
अब उतना नहीं है, लेकिन क्योंकि अब आवागमन के साधन बढ़ गए ना। पहले साधन नहीं थे तो यही साधन होता था। चलिए, बहुत सुंदर पेंटिंग बनाते हैं आप, बहुत अच्छी शुभकामनाएं आपके लिए।
धन्यवाद। गिर भी गए हैं।
अच्छा,
एक्सीडेंट कर गया।
अच्छा, पेंटिंग बनाते समय?
हाँ, लेकिन बच गए तब पर भी।
हाँ, चलिए, सब भगवान का वो है। तो पेंटिंग बनाने के लिए कहाँ बना रहे थे? चढ़ के बना रहे थे कहीं?
मेरा मतलब नानी गाँव है वो कोयलक, और अपना गाँव है बड़का गाँव जान, वहीं पे बना रहे थे हम लोग। ऊपर में 22 फीट की ऊंचाई से गिरे थे हम लोग।
ओहो।
हाँ,
तो चोट वगैरह तो नहीं आई ज़्यादा?
आई थी चोट।
अच्छा, ठीक, लेकिन बच गए।
हाँ, बच गए थे।
तो आप सिखाते भी हैं पेंटिंग?
जी, हाँ।
तो क्या घर पे ही सिखाते हैं, कैसे सिखाते हैं?
हाँ, घर पे भी सिखाते हैं। हाँ, जैसे भाभी लोग हैं उसको जाके भी सिखाते हैं।
अच्छा। चलिए, अच्छा है। आपका नाम? थोड़ा कहाँ से आए आप?
सरसोपाई, मधुबनी जिला।
हाँ, तो आप ये क्या क्या बनाते हैं? ये
बनाते ही लाठी लाका।
हाँ।
जैसे ब्योती लाठी हो गया, लिखी लाठी हो गया,
हाँ,
हो गया, मीना वाला हो गया।
अच्छा, तो सब टाइप के लाख की लाख होता है बिहार में?
हाँ, होता है, चलता है।
हाँ, झारखंड में तो हमने देखा था लाख का इंस्टीट्यूट है झारखंड में।
हाँ, ये चूड़ी बेसी हम लोग को चलता है।
हाँ,
जैसे सतगामा है ना, सूती सबको ज़्यादा ही।
तो आप ये कितने साल से बना रहे हैं?
हमको भी ये पुश्तानी चल रहा है।
अच्छा अच्छा।
आज से नहीं, जमाना से चल रहा है।
अच्छा अच्छा।
हम करें 30-35 साल से।
हाँ 30 आप भी बनाते हैं? अच्छा।
ये मैं अपना घूम करके
बेहूती लाठी हुआ ये।
हाँ
सोती सबको काम,
ये सोती सबको काम आता है।
हाँ।
ये भिक्की लाठी हुआ।
हाँ।
सोती सबको काम आता है। ये तीसी फूल हुआ। ब्राह्मण सबको काम आता है। ये ऑक्सी हो गया, फूल तोड़ी में काम देता है।
अच्छा।
ये बुआ माला हुआ।
तो शादी में कौन कौन से काम में आते हैं ये? शादी में
ये काम आता है।
हाँ।
ये काम आता है शादी में।
हाँ।
ये भी काम आता है शादी में।
अच्छा।
हो गया ये सब। ये सब है।
कैसा लग रहा है आपको? दिल्ली में पहली बार आया आप लोग?
नहीं, इससे पहले आ चुके हैं यहाँ, लेकिन इंदिरा गांधी कला केंद्र में फर्स्ट बार आया है।
अच्छा यहाँ।
हाँ, इससे पहले हमने एग्जीबिशन लगा चुके हैं, यहाँ पे आगरा में लगा चुके हैं, मथुरा में लगा चुके हैं, दिल्ली हाट में लगा चुके हैं। हाँ, लेकिन इंदिरा गांधी कला केंद्र में पहली बार मौका मिला है।
चाहे आपके साथ बैठे, चाहे फिजिकल से बात कर रहे हैं, आपका आर्टिस्ट के साथ। आपने ले लिया बिस्कुट? क्या नाम है आपका? नाम नहीं बताया आपने? हेलो।
चाय पीना है? बढ़िया अच्छी चाय है।
तो आप लोग पेंटिंग की बात आप
जी, अपन चाहिए।
हाँ मैं भी रहूँ।
आ रही है 10 मिनट।
पेंटिंग के बारे में बताइए।
ये काली के 10 रूप जो हैं उनमें से ये तीसरे रूप जो खोटसी हैं उन्हीं का ये यंत्र है। ये महालक्ष्मी का भी यंत्र इसको बोलते हैं और ये श्री यंत्र के नाम से काफ़ी फेमस है। और इसके बारे में और क्या मैं बताऊँ, ये इसमें ऐसा कहा जाता है जो दुनिया में जितने भी हिंदू देवी देवता हैं वो सबका इसमें निवास है। तो आपका ये डिटेल किसी बुक में मिल जाएगा, लेकिन ये इतना जान लीजिए जो ये पूरा वास्तुशास्त्र के भी दृष्टिकोण से बहुत अच्छा माना गया है। इसको महायंत्र भी बोला जाता है। ये यंत्रों की जननी है, ये आप मान सकते हैं।
17th and 18th of November, after that, the government lost interest and arts for
But sir, I must say the way Madhubani is taken.
such as download and gifters.
And what will do like?
Yes, you can do. You can listen.
I am so inspired by Shri Yatra. I want to make, it's not tantric, it's a yantra. Yeah, it's a yantra which they say it helps in human body. Geometry.
Okay. See, yeah. So teach us any goddess.
Goddess of Shakti and Shiva. And Shiva. And so where can we see your Gujarat paintings?
My Gujarat image is with this gentleman, this gallery there, this gallery which is situated in I have given my entire collection to this gentleman, and he has showing all the art. things. And this year, he has taken a very big decision to show my art in the art fair. It was a big hit, like a movie. People were flocking, all the models, the figures, international crowd was there. I was on the high. I thought,
No, I want to see your real art.
you can see my art.
This is your pictorial form, but I want to see the painting.
So you have to consult this Yes, so you can go and have a look. And I can tell you nice thing about one more painting which I specially did for this in the art fair. It was the last summer.
You did the last supper? In Madhubani style? Can you beat that?
No, that is so. So some people have already commissioned me to do this. It's a big size like this. So it's 3.5 inches.
5 or something.
Yes, 5 feet. 3.5 or 5. So it's a big size, but it was a big experience because I didn't work alone. I and his wife, we worked together.
On the same painting?
Yes, it was so difficult because it is something from history. It's not something from my mind. But I have to treat it completely different.
So one person, on one painting, you see different people are working. The lines and everything will differ side.
They are at the same level. I think they are very talented. Equally talented, equally committed, and they too practice the same art, living in the same space. But I cannot allow anyone to touch
No, in your one painting, suppose you did the last supper. If 3 people made the last supper together, so you were working together at one time?
We were working together.
At one time?
On a regular basis, we'll go to upstairs, the room upstairs, and then we all of them sit down, rather settle down in a beautiful mood, mind, and then talk for 2 hours, 3 hours. I would sit there for all day. The couple who are with me, they are not from their jobs to do. They have a small child, so they are irritated also because your child keeps crying, and you are doing something serious. You heard the cry of your child. The mother I don't know.
And so when you are painting, whenever you are sitting and painting, do you listen to anything? Or can you talk? Can you talk or Mehta? On Mehta.
I listen to just a few. Initially in the morning. And that sets the mood for me. And then I get so calm that all other noise is I get so calm. Yesterday, I had a very good session with all the guys. Because I was just telling things which make me nothing from or outside, nothing from I'm very simple and I don't have all the questions. And honestly, I never judge people. I simply love you. I respect you for what you do. I have nothing to do with your successes or failures. I strongly believe if you function at your full potential, the day you become free, you know the essence of your existence. So so these are the things I get from the and I've been following since at times I say I'm Buddhist, though I'm not considered Buddhist, but I love it.
So you are from Thailand.
I had a question for you. I asked why it's so relaxed. He said he's absolutely relaxed because he has to do anything. He has to gain nothing, no identity, no office, nothing. He's so relaxed. So he has absolutely the distance of his being. Why it is not. That's why you get drawn or you entangled with lots of things. You knew what just did that. So you don't have to prove anything. They are very funny and very fringy things. Very fringy. Just you knew something which are very deep. Very deep. That touches them. When I study philosophy, not philosopher, I there were other philosophers. They were good, but they did not hold that impact. They did not listen. It was so simple. I feel I'm a very simple man. I have nothing to do with not at all. I have just read 10 books in 55 minutes. I don't want to. I just want to feel it. And if something transpires between us, that happens to me inside me. I say the way I feel to something to me, you're just a job, your family, I just want to be next to you. So the moment you that's what
That's if we actually log in, offline is online is all.
Rati, the village which is known internationally
सर ये मेरा ड्रीम है मैं कितना कहती हूँ
right? So people can hear you, but I think for offline.
Excuse me.
Shantanu, his nephew.
He's my nephew. He works with Sri. His wife also works with me. So I'm a small team.
Mahalakshmi is there. Mahalakshmi is
And we
there.
are very good committed artists.
Great.
And we are doing interesting things beyond the traditional, stuff. We have taken it very forward, very high, to a different level. Like I did the Gujarat series, then I did the Kali series, then romance, then Buddha series, then Buddha series, and then Fisherman series, then Monsoon series, and recently I have been working on Lovers, Lakpatiya Sura, based on the Lakpatiya Sura theme, romance series. So I did this in 2017, and it's going on. It's a long process because whenever I pick up an interesting idea from anywhere, I work on it. And that's how it is expanding into a series. I often end up doing a series because I cannot be happy with one idea at just one idea. It keeps growing all the time.
Right, of course. Yes, and amidst all that growth, we are here, and it's quite a fortune for us that in this walkthrough of Vaidehi exhibition, we have one very prolific and very eminent artist, Sita here with us, and it's truly an honor, a blessing, that he will be actually going through, giving us a walkthrough of all the paintings of the Vaidehi exhibition. I request, sir, मैं आपसे आग्रह करती हूँ कि कृपया हमें जो इस एग्जीबिशन के जो फाइन जो nuanced जो understanding है fine. What's your opinion? I think you have said a few things in the past 2 days which we have actually done where we have learned a lot and we are eager to learn more. So your thoughts on, let's start from here. This is Mehta. We start with that. And she has drawn the warrior princess of Mithila. And she writes that she is a driven, empowered woman. She is a beautiful princess. Can we focus on the painting? She is bold yet soft. She is courageous yet gracious. She is elegant yet vivacious. She is Sita.
The nice thing about this work is that it's very vibrant. You see, the background is very filled with bold patterns and bold colors. This is what I like about it. Because it is just the work of a young artist. But what she has observed from the Madhubani style is the use of the bold colors. So a lot of women painters from Chitwatne, which are known for the color style, the verning style. I work in the line style, which is known as Kachni style. So what you derive from the from the color style is just an assemblage of colors, a lot of colors. So the new generation artists have very nicely used this bold background and Sita as a warrior. That's the nice thing about this work. It looks so good. And the use of the color black, which also I can see very carefully handled in this work. See? And then this this I can say peach color and the green in the border, which is in the arch, is also very interesting. So in a way, it's a good effort to present Sita in a very much like very much focused manner. Sita looks very focused.
So here also the colors which she has used for Sita is very enchanting.
Yes.
Because while I was sorting the paintings, I mean, as a nobody in art, I have simply zero, kind of expertise as far as art is concerned. But what amazed me is the color of her choice.
The color of the art.
Yes, yes. And that's something I believe is truly, like we have Pocahontas and all the characters
that represents truly the spirit of the folk art.
Yes.
In the beginning, most of the women used pure color, that is Indian red. That is very much closer to the color of the earth. So she has used it very, I can say, very precisely, just in the body itself. You see, look at the Sita, the image of Sita. She has just used that color in the body. That's very nice. And in the background, she has used lots of vermilion red, yellow, and then the lines in black color. That makes it a beautiful arch. Sita being the queen and placed in an arch is a lovely idea for a young practitioner. It's a very lovely idea. And then you have another Sita.
We have another Sita, but this is drawn by Shubham Priya. Do we have Shubham Priya here? Yes. Please call her.
Yes, in the back.
Yeah. Let her speak and explain. It's actually a very good thing that artists speak themselves about their art, right? So let's Shubham Priya come, because I think this is very traditionally done, right? With a very classic sense of paintings. So Shubham will be...
the traditional approach to do about the work is to divide it into compartments. So the compartment like this is very nicely used here. That's important. And even the colors are very traditional.
Shubham, please. गाँव कोयला, right? नानी गाँव कोयला. नाम पता है?
बट्टा गाँव उजान. हाँ जी.
She is from Bhatta Gaon, Ujan, which is a very prolific village. I mean, we have categorization of villages. बहुत नीक गाम से छथिन, बहुत नीक प्रशस्त गाम से छथिन. उजान से गाम, नानी गाम से हो कोई लक्षण बहुत प्रशस्त गाम. शुभम अपन पेंटिंग के बारे में हाँ बताबियो जहाँ की ड्रॉ करने छी की करने छी सब.
जय माल के नीचे. जय माल और ये जैसे सीधा वेट कलर है. हाँ तो वो ठीक लगता है. तो ये लोग की देश में मान लिए. हेलो. ओके सो व्हाट. हाँ ओके.
It's a nice work, and she is depicting 3 important episodes from the life of Sita, which we all know, like how Sita found Ram, got married, found Ram in that contest, and then in another episode, how she was abducted by Ravan, who was longing to marry her, who could never fulfill his dream. That's very sad. And then another thing is that when he took her and put her in a very isolated place to make her come to terms with his vow, which he never gave him, never. So she got some help from her, from this devotee Hanuman. So these are the 3 things she has described in a very traditional, typical traditional sense, which has been in the past and which is still many people are doing in the same manner. Many people, many youngsters, because it's quite traditional, very traditional. That's good.
Thank you. Sir, सबसे guidance for our सीख सके बढ़िया कर सके. There is no end to it. सीखे के कोनो सीमा नहीं होती. ठीक है. Thank you so much. Sir, we have Richa Bharti for those concept note. So now we have.
No, let me tell you.
Yeah, sure.
It is interesting in the sense that it is very much like like a poster. It does not look like a full painting in a traditional sense or in a typical sense. But she has used the characters as a symbol and even the elements quite precisely. So, and with the slokas in the upper panel, it makes it look a little different from the usual form you may see in the exhibition. So in a way it's different. She has tried to make it look very precise and very, I can say, a very new element she has introduced. You can look at it, it's very different. people generally don't, a young practitioner generally does not represent, a religious icon in this manner. So that is the beauty of this.
I have got it. The title is very interesting. Savati iti Sita. Savati iti Sita अर्थात जो ऐश्वर्य युक्त हैं और पालन पोषण और रक्षण करती हैं वही सीता है. The one who nourishes, the one who protects is Sita. I think she has given a longer interpretation to that, but basically she is trying to say that it is the one who nourishes and the one who is the protector. That is Richa Bhatti for us. Next we have two paintings of Sita. She has the one which is here before us. It's called Prakriti, and next she writes in her own words, "Be humble." And then she explains that this painting depicts Sita as a kalpa vriksha, where, as per the Upanishad, she is born from the earth and returns back to the earth. All the earth species belong to her, and every soul has the Lord of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh in them. Sita has an embodiment of positive energy, similar to the sound of conch shells, depicted on the four corners. Yes, there are four corners. This is Pallavi Pacha.
And the interesting thing about this artwork is that you have the sloks in the background.
Yes.
Instead of floral patterns, she has just filled the background with the slokas on Sita, about Sita's life. That's important. And showing Sita as a culprit, Vriksha is another new idea which she has tried. I've never seen Sita being shown as a culprit.
And so many heads.
Yes. Oh my God, that speaks of her being such a
Enormous.
such, I can say, colossal personality. So colossal, like any god. She is at a par with any male god. Yes, she is that. We don't know that. We have not identified her as that, but she is that. Because the humility or the humbleness is one quality that really makes you rise above others. If you are humble, that means you truly understand the reality of a person. Only then you can be humble. Otherwise you will be caught up with your own mental or psychological elements all the time. So if you rise above them, then you know what humility means or what humbleness means. Sita represents that also. That's very important.
This is Who Sacrificed It All is her title of this painting. Kirti Mulye, she writes that she was a beautiful daughter of Vaidehi in Mehta region, and then this signifies that valuing mind more than body is something very important. And Queen Sudana, she was a talented, enduring and giving the soil as she was founded. She had the capacity to understand nature, and she explains that further. So Ramayana is often considered to be a story of Lord Ram, but Vaidehi was equally an intelligent, powerful, independent and brave character. In this picture, I have tried to depict how a beautiful, kind-hearted, nature-loving princess had to face hardships as a part of her destiny post her marriage. However, she managed to overcome them gracefully without as much as repent on her face. This is Kitty Mule.
I have just one liner for this painting. Despite all the things she had described, the painter had described about Sita, in this picture, Sita is very girlish. Just like a girl, just look at her. That's what I see. Obviously, she is very much like a girl.
I think next we have Priya Thakkar. Let me find out her name.
They say, sir, when Michelangelo made a sculpture in which Jesus is in the lap of Mary.
Can we have
Mary looks like Jesus' daughter. She's so young. She looks like a 16-year-old girl. So he describes the purity in the heart of Mary made her look so young, and love gave her the youth. So though she's the mother's beauty from within. It's a very beautiful description about Michelangelo.
Yes, that's true.
She is Priya Thakkar. Next. Ila ki Rajkumari Vaidehi. Vaidehi Janki Sita Siya Bhuvija a symbol of power, dharma, love, dignity for generations to follow. An individual who was beyond the body, daughter of Vaidehi or Raja Janak, who was supremely intelligent, creative and talented, had seen all the shades of life. Vaidehi is not a name, but it's a legacy which every woman carries within. Vaidehi didn't belong to an era, but she is still relevant, present in all of us. This is beautiful. Priya Kakkar.
Yes, this is.
We have Priya Kakkar here?
No, she's coming tomorrow.
She's coming tomorrow? Okay. But remember the artists those who are present, you are going to explain your painting yourself.
Yes, I am.
That would be very good. And explaining your painting to Santosh Kumar Das ji. I mean, it's truly amazing. So yeah, this is Priya Kakkar.
So to me, this painting speaks of Sita as an aesthetic of the highest order, because it's very intense. See, the presentation is very intense. And Sita as the central character looks very, I can say, very serious and very different. Very different from the rest of the paintings we have just seen. Very different.
You are Buddhi Raja, right? Yeah. Right. Fine. So we have here the artist herself, which is another pleasure. So she's going to introduce herself and her work.
हाय मेरा नाम मणि मल्लिका राजा है मैं बनारस से हूँ और एक बिगिनर आर्टिस्ट हूँ जस्ट अ बिगिनर एन एमेचर आर्टिस्ट दिस इज़ अ ब्यूटीफुल अपॉर्चुनिटी दैट आई गॉट फ्रॉम मैम एंड मेरी पेंटिंग माँ सीता के माँ के रूप में मैंने बनाई है आई वॉन्टेड टू पोर्ट्रे हर एज अ शक्ति स्वरूपा आई फील दैट शी इज़ द ड्राइविंग फोर्स बिहाइंड द एंटायर एपिक रामायण. And I connect with her because I feel a woman has immense strength in her to go through various ups and downs that life throws at her. And this is what I believe, and this is what I think that I myself am. So this is what I have portrayed in her. This is me, this is Vaidehi, and this is me too. So that's what I wanted to show in my painting.
Yes, what I would like to add to this work. Are these lovely two companions, the Tiger and the Tiger. They are very lovely companions, which gives Sita a beautiful environment with her two lovely birds. Look at the Tiger. That's very nice. That's very nice. Yes.
And we do not have Bharti here. She has painted this. And I think the way she had explained it, the explanation is behind this painting. Sita sitting in Ashok Vatika. So, as she is a national awardee also, this is beyond the competition. This is not part of competition. This is just for the exhibition. I would like to hear sir's comment.
The nice thing about this painting is that she has chosen to portray Sita, talk about Sita's movies in the Gopna style. That's the significant aspect of this one. She could have done it in her own style as she's an established artist, but she has chosen the Gopna style to communicate her, her feelings about Sita, her loneliness. And in the Gopna style, you have to use all the characters, everything in a circular way. That's significant. And everything moves in cycles. This appeals to me a lot. This also forms, this also is part of a very higher philosophy that things go in cycles, cyclical order. I don't know exactly if it has to do with it, but the representation is like that. And that is how the Godna style, describes something. So that's a very significant aspect of this work.
Sir, we do not have an explanation for this painting with us.
Okay.
So actually now move on to the next painting, which is done by...
This seems to be the work done by a very young, bubbly chubby girl.
Everything together.
A young mind. If you ask a young girl to do a painting, that's how she is.
Yeah,
so this is very nice.
That's
this is by a
I think I would also like to say, which is a very significant point, since we didn't need, prolific Padmashris or national awardees or any awardee, there was no criteria which was fixed upon the skill or level of art which you have achieved. Rather, it was open to all whosoever connects with the idea. So you was the idea of Vaidehi as a very empowered woman. Sita as a departure point as far as women's discourse in Indian perspective is concerned. So with that note, everybody was given a note, special note, and the way they connected and made their own Vaidehi was the idea. And young women, this is something very fascinating and very positive about the process, that young women have really taken to the idea, and the way they have expressed the jubilant
style of painting has got prominence in 2000s, after 2000. This kind of expression, or I can say dream.
Her explanation is there in my phone. She had written me that what has she painted and she has. But this painting is also, I think,
lots of all elements in it. It was very artistic. Its attitude belongs to the soil, and so simple that if a good storyteller is dealing with those episodes from Sita, that's interesting. I like the opaque color, the use of the colors.
Color is very interesting.
Not so strong, so vibrant. They're just in an offbeat mood. The color looks good.
Rather mix, right? Mix of beach and vibrant also. We have then Jyoti Jha. Her explanation is also not in this file. Maybe she has sent it over my phone, because most of the explanations I've exchanged. This is somebody had pointed that this is an online exercise. I think said in a very demeaning. But I would like to emphasize here one thing. One, that we have opened this concept during COVID. And COVID taught us a new chapter, altogether a new chapter in life, how we can deal with online. Maximize it. It has its own fallouts, of course. It's very, for mental health, it proved to be very detrimental. But it also opened new vistas, where we could explore how proficient we can be with, if not in person or not doing physically, not doing things physically. Online is also an option. So I would like to emphasize it here, that the things have been exchanged. There are no physical in-person classes, right? Offline classes or any tutorial which is being done. Most of the exchanges has happened offline, online, whether through WhatsApp or through Gmeets. We have used technology, I think, profusely. So if that's a very demeaning exercise, I do not know. I see it as a transformative exercise, right? As a matter of transformation, tell us a new chapter in life where post-COVID, we are analyzing how work should look like, how exchanges, communication would look like, right? So that's something, so online artists are not so small. This is just a way to, kind of reach out to people, and this is how they have been reached, they have reacted, they have exchanged, and we have communicated. So if that is something, a minus on these paintings, we accept it. All our follies, me and all my artists, all Vaidehis, we accept it with all grace, right? Thank you. So we move on to the other. There's also a very young and young mother also, and a very bubbly, power behind Ramayana. She is the cause, she is the result, leading Ramayana to its glory and greatness. This is what she has to offer. Title, she hasn't entitled it, she hasn't titled it, but this is her explanation. This is Divya for us, Divya Jha. Because we have two Divyas, Divya Goyal and Divya Jha. Thank God I could track. Now we have, if I can read it, Nimisha Somani. again, I'll read. That's convenient, more convenient for me, because we have exchanged mostly over the phone. She has titled her work Sita Ki Ram, right? Usually we have Ram Ki Sita. She has titled Sita Ki Ram, and then she goes on Sita Vaidehi Janki, एक ऐसा नाम है जो अपने आप में ही एक पूर्ण रूप से स्थिर, शांत और प्यार करने वाला भरोसेमंद व्यक्तित्व दर्शाता है, right? So she is a very loving personality, the one who has a capacity to love, you know. So and then she has quoted a श्लोक, सीता को उद्भव सिद्धि संहारकारिणी केश हारिणी सर्वश्रेयस कलिंग सीता नतो अहम राम वल्लभा। राम की जो पत्नी है, जो प्रिया है, मैं उनको नमस्कार करती हूँ। इस श्लोक के साथ इसको किया है। This is Sumani for us. This is different, right? Yes. And what I find different here, sir, I mean, just yes, thematically, that everywhere else, I think there has to be an episode, there has to be an issue around Sita. Here, there is just their love moments. I mean, they are in romance. They are caring and loving each other. Sita romancing or Ram is romancing Sita, right?
Yes.
So it is a very lovely capture she has done.
Maybe some damage to the Sita romancing Ram with a song from God.
Oh wow! So, yes. Yeah, this is lovely. Because we always have trials.
If you add up a song in a painting, may have to enjoy. It will be interesting.
Right. So I think this is a very different in a sense that we do not have our trials, do not have our trauma in the
It's quite a cool thing. It's not deep, it doesn't deal with your difficulty or hard aspects of life. It is something where you feel chilled out. Just
Chilled out.
Enjoy. अगर कठिनाइयों के बारे में क्या बात करें, वो तो चलता ही रहता है. It goes on with all your life.
So Nikisha, yours is a chilled out painting. I hope you are getting served.
The one work which is done entirely in the line style, that's distinguishing it from others.
I think this is beautiful.
She had just done it in the line style, not to use other colors except black and red. And this is the kind of art which was important in the 70s and 80s. This is the art. And it has the form of from form of the Dipakuri style. This is the kind of form the woman from that village used to draw.
Sir, I would request you to please explain what was used for red color, what was used for black color, what was the ink and the nib.
Okay, initially we used the color which we made in our home. Okay?
At home?
Initially, in the 70s, we made it at home. Okay? But we soon responded to market color, which is called powder color, which is very much powder, which is mix it with water, with some glue in it, heat the water with some glue in it, and then mix color in it. Then it becomes very strong. It can last. It can stay for 3 months, 4 months. But that was the story in the 70s. But soon we moved to market color, market waterproof drawing. So if you do a work in the drawing, in that drawing ink, it will last, I don't know, less than 50 years. Because you have to translate in that waterproof drawing ink, it is still very powerful. Because it's a market color. And then in 2000s,
Those are acrylic inks.
in 2000s, when the acid-free paper was introduced by Raymond B. Owens, another patron or lover of this art from USA, he wanted us to use acrylic colors which can last as long as 200 years. If it is preserved in a beautiful museum, in a beautiful space, it can last 300 years. So that was his idea. He was an American and he loved this art a lot, and he has done this art for this art a lot. So he went to Jaipur, bought the acid-free paper and wanted the practitioners from the villages to use this acid-free paper and the acrylic color. So it will have a different impact, and it will also invite a stronger market, and that proved true. That was a very interesting addition.
She has titled it Sudha Devi ji. The title is Sone Ka Hiran. Very simple explanation. She says that how Sone Ka Hiran had taken led to an event where Sita was kidnapped.
Sita was tempted by the golden.
Tempted by, yes, golden.
And asked Ram, go and catch it from me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will not die. I will not be alive. Just catch the deer from me, only then I will be happy. Ram said, of course, if you are saying I have to fulfill this wish of yours. And when Ram just left for hunting the deer, Sita lost the ground.
Yes.
Sita lost, which is very sad. Yes, in a way which is very sad, and which leaves a message that whenever you have a small wish inside your heart, bubbling and throbbing, don't get into it. Just stay calm. If you want to go to a mall and it's 11 o'clock at night, don't go to the mall. Stay with your mom. Watch something on TV. Of course. That's beautiful. That's how you were safe in the city like this. No? You should learn. I mean, actually, these episodes are very interesting, value. Teaching a very interesting set of values to us. Like, there are lots of things which work on us, which affect us, but we don't have to give in to everything. Because they are very petty and they're very, very soft. They will go away soon. You don't have to bother about them. So Sita also, I'm sure Sita might have learned it when she was taken away by Ravan and had to suffer in that Batika garden for so many years till the battle happened. Yeah. And Rama won her, brought her back. But it's interesting. That's true. That I can also say a part of these two teachings. You don't have to give in to all your wishes. Nothing. Just give in to those things which are very important. Only then you can stay calm. So you have to allow the mind to remain focused. And that's also important for a magician also. They know this focus very deeply. All the magicians, I'm telling all the classical magicians, or any good magician for that matter. You have to have that kind of focus. Yes, that's one.
Sir, Uttar Mishra's, I think it's Agni Pariksha, and I think all the moments she has captured. I do not have a concept note.
Yes.
So this is Uttar Mishra for us. And then, of course, my all-time favorite, I'm partial, I'm biased, for Mahalakshmi Kar, right? We have Mahalakshmi Kar. And our concept note goes that one day Janaka, the king of Mithila, saw his daughter Sita lift a mighty bow presented to him by Shiva with her left hand while paving the floor in her Kul Devta's chamber, which we call Bhogar, or Gosainghar.
No, which we call deity chamber.
Deity chamber, which is Gosainghar, right? King Janak was tremendously astonished. He realized that she was a divine being. My composition emphasizes on her special powers. To convey this, I portray Sita superimposed by her own larger magical self, and that's why Sita should be seen as an icon symbolizing great force, resolve, and determination, contrary to the popular image of a demure, submissive woman. That's Mahalakshmi Kar for us. So yeah, sir, I wanted to propose something before you comment on this. I think we have some artists, those who are themselves interpretation first, and then we can do the right. So I think we will actually first we would like to have your opinion on Mahalakshmi. I think she is carrying your legacy also.
She is carrying my legacy, and everything she does, we have lots of discussion. Everything, because we have taken a different approach in the folk art genre. People just people believe in an approach which is like hold the pen and finish the painting. We don't follow this approach. We take a subject and we try to feel about it very deeply. Not in 2 days or 3 days or 5 days. We don't limit that, a time like that. It can take 10 days, it can take 5 days. So there is no time limit. But during that period, we feel very distinctly about it, very deeply about it. Then we sit down together and we do a lot of drafts. And from those drafts emerge a beautiful idea, a beautiful outline. And then the final painting happens. And this is is how this also happened. Exactly. That's how I paint third page. And that's what I say with my daughter. She's my daughter. So it's fun for me and fun for her also. I tell her a lot of things all the time. Even if you are not paint. There's no need to paint all the time. Just very calm and free. That's it. You don't have to just hone up your skill all the time.
So I think there's a very young, promising woman. We have Bharti just below her with Love and Kush. Sita with Love and Kush. This is a very interesting painting, I find. And now we will move to. Would you like to comment on that?
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Okay, fine. Then we have Neetu Gulati ji.
That's only use the artist.
Yes. Let's make use of them actually. They are waiting for so long.
Yes.
Neetu Gulati's painting is here. Can we move the
Sita, where we all as a lady would connect to her. This is first when she is born and being protected. This is I have taken from Amish's book, where she is being protected by Garuda, that nobody harms her in the jungle when she is there. Then this is when she is worshipping Lord Shiva's bow and arrow and Pinaka, where she is able to lift and the power that all ladies we have within us. That is what we are depicting. Then she is learning to be a warrior. That how she has to come over all the odds in her life.
Sir, if you come in the
then
that would be great.
This is when they are married, and this is the compassionate scene that I have shown. This is when she is gone to the exile with Rama, and she is preparing living a normal life that every woman has. Then here when she is stubborn and even both ways compassionate and stubborn, that she wants Rama to go and get the deer for her. And then all the problems after the exile start happening. Then she to show that she is voice and peace, she has to go to the Agni Pariksha. And then again after the washerman's word, she is sent again to the exile, where she is sitting and thinking what she has to go through, and again she starts walking, and then she gives birth to Love and Kush. Then she is teaching them all the moral values that are needed in their life, and again she goes back to Mother Earth, praying that please take me back into your life.
It's a very fascinating interpretation of Sita, because I think, I don't know what is going on in her mind, but what I feel very strongly about it is that there is a, 10 incarnations of Vishnu. So Sita is no less than any male god. Kudos to this lady. A woman is no less than any man. See, wonderful. We say Vishnu is this and that, has contributed a lot in every sense. Now she represents Sita in the same light. It's a beautiful idea.
Very nice.
Strong Sita.
Okay. Then we have Arpita Desai ji, whose painting is there. Lakshmi Prasad ji. I think earlier also in Darbhanga episode of Vaidehi, she had given us a very, very interesting, very bold, very empowered, very strong visual of Sita. Again, we have Vidushri ji is not here with us. We will read her concept later. Now we have Lakshmi Prasad ji. Okay, fine. So yeah.
Whenever you represent something or showcase something, I mean pictorially, it has that element called visuality. It stands for that element very, very boldly, very, very, I can say, strong, just with 3 colors, see, black, red and yellow. If she does a big wall like this, she will be a martyr. I have done this wall, nobody can match me. And so this is how I look at art, this is how I look at myself all the time. I'm a wonderful artist, you can imagine.
If I can read quickly, because she has given her...
Life is fun. Life is fun.
Reflects the attitude. Her attire depicts Sita's story through her strength, purity and courage. Wisdom, loyalty and sacrifice, as well as her sense of self-esteem and astuteness. I think she has worded it very carefully, and which is wonderful. So, yeah. Vidushri ji, I love your kind of style, and I got so fascinated that in one of our souvenirs, Vidushri Prasad ji was got a special position, and I think, though clearly, that was for me, a very layman, just a kind of watcher, an audience. I found the other one, the previous one, more powerful, but this is again, has a beauty and power of its own. Yeah, right, sir. So Rashmi Dhar ji. one request to all the artists. Please do not speak in your mind with this.
We have to be grateful for that.
Okay, fine.
Actually, this is based on a story. It's the story as actually I am not too much, I haven't read Ramayana, but this is a story which was given to by my teacher, Bhavan Thakur. So I tried to represent that, and I saw a very good thought in that. Like Sita, a person who had, took her own decisions. She was not pushed to do something, or she was not pushed to do something. She did everything what she liked and what she thought was good for everybody. So here, this is a story where after the exile, to overcome the dilemma of God Rama, where after hearing the Bhogi's part where he thought that Praja is not happy, वो लोग समझते हैं कि सीता अभी भी Sita is not still pure, so that she can be taken back into the family, and it will be a kind of a bad thing that people will, it will represent, because she was from a royal family, she was a queen. If something was accepted as, people thought that it was a mistake on her part or something, as per that time. So they thought that it will become a routine for all people to do that. So she had to set an example, set a tone. So that is why God Rama was in dilemma, like what should she do after Logi and so. So to take him out of the dilemma, she took a decision to move to forest on her own, so that she is there in the forest, and Rama's image as a Maryada Purushottam Ram is saved, and she does her duties towards her husband and as a queen also.
And she draws Sita Rekha.
Yeah, and here it is Lakshmana who is coming to forest to drop her, and he is insisting that allow me to be with you in the forest this time also. And she draws a line over here and says that no, I have to do it on my own. This is my own right. I'll do it. You go and be with Rama.
You can't cross this line.
Yes, you
can. It's
cannot.
interesting that in this picture, Sita said, now it's my time to dictate terms.
Yes.
We have been dictating for many years, now it's my time. Yes. So this is Sita Rekha.
Absolutely.
The new terminology of decision, I can say perseverance, endurance, as pictured in your painting.
That's what I
Yes.
So powerful. So powerful.
So we have heard of Lakshman Rekha, now we hear of Sita Rekha.
Thank you for giving this terminology. Thank you.
Yes. This is Chanda Vatsyayan for us. I would like to special mention of Vandana Srivastava ji. We have a very beautiful and I think very, what do you call this? Neat.
Very meticulous, clean.
Line work, right? So intricate work of the same episode. This is Ravana, coming as a disguise and asking for arms. And Swarni Hiranjani. And so I think
it's a very popular episode where Ravana will come as just a meet, but with a very bad intention, beating her, and then this shows the deer, which is the cause of that tragedy. Yes. So it's a very famous episode from Sita's life, and it is also done in the typical line style. This is also done in the typical line style. As you can see, there are just two colors, red and black. So this is a typical line style of the 70s, typical line style. Yes.
This is Vandana Srivastava ji. Before we move on to nobody has a painting in this room. The artists, those who are present, fine. So just few paintings I'll talk about quickly. This is Vandana Srivastava ji from Lucknow, and I think she has drawn Sita Avtaran. Sita's incarnation, what you call Avtaran.
How Sita was born.
And I think that we should, I would be, I want to make a special mention of her, because I think mentally she is so powerful. Physically she is differently abled, but mentally she is so powerful that despite all her, the oddities against, her physical health while doing this painting was insurmountable. Yet, this prolific woman, this prolific artist called Vandana Srivastava tried to finish it and set it for us. So I think I'm in too much of gratitude of Vandana Srivastava ji, and so much peace, power and mental health, physical health to you. Thank you so much. We love your painting.
The colors he has done in the pink is a trademark of the 70s. or even part of the tradition. Even nowadays, if a Vermilion wrapper goes to the bride's family, it is the edge is done in the same pink color. And the nice thing which I find very fascinating is it seems very tiny, as if a child has done doodles. Like if you ask a child to do something very serious, she has done something like that. It's not doesn't look like a full-fledged big work. It's so tiny but so lovely.
But she can't extend herself beyond a point. She can't draw on this size of.
She can't draw on this. For the personal reason. But she has used this. But she has used this pink and red, which are very typical.
If I can share, Vandanaji wanted to make very peaceful, very, I think, sorted, and very less colored painting. So when she was done, I wanted to play with colors, right? And we exchanged notes. But I told her that let's play with colors, add some border to it, which is plain, just plain, and magenta, sparkling. Let's add color to our Sita, right? And then I think earlier she was hesitant because she was telling me, ma'am, it's too loud. I said, let's do that, fine. And then Vandanaji did this. So I do not know whether I did the right thing or not,
No,
but we played along.
You did the right thing.
Okay.
Right thing.
Okay.
Because this magenta and this yellow are the popular colors in Madhubani, in Mithila. Very popular colors.
Thank you, Vandanaji, for listening to my painting. Vaidehi, she's from Patna, I believe. May need a special mention. She did not come here to us for her personal reasons. Prakriti has drawn a special episode from Sita's life. We all know that she has spent a significant amount of her life in Sri Lanka. And Sita has, I think, I would request Jennifer ma'am to come in frame. She's okay, ma'am. Ma'am, please, I request you. Yeah. So, we all know that she has a very, kind of, not only spent a significant amount of life in Sri Lanka, also the fact that she has a lot of deep reverence for her in Sri Lanka, right? We have with us Jennifer ma'am, who is also kind of a jury for this exhibition, for some of the paintings which are in the competition. Not all, but she is one of the jury. So it was also her attachment, she being amongst us with the Vaidehi in the journey for a very long period of time, that it propelled us to think that the episodes and the elements of Sita beyond, kind of a geographical boundary which we call nation. So how do we explore her? And then this young artist has drawn this Untitled Chapter Parivartan, which is a symbol of Buddhism, very strong part of Buddhist, kind of cycle, which is kind of prevalent in Sri Lanka. And how Sita is, kind of these two are one, and she is meditating. So meditation, I think that's a common, kind of element between not only two countries, also two prolific religions. And Sita being a, kind of a bridge between these two. And this Untitled Chapter Parivartan representing Buddhism, Sita being in a quiet, I think quaint, meditative mode, is I find personally very, very enchanting. Ma'am, your comment on it. No, you will not speak as a jury. But
no, I would just say one thing that what I find very nice about Mrs. Glau is that she is doing the simple mudra, the posture, I forget what it's called. But it gives a very beautiful idea.
It's interesting, very interesting thing which fascinates me a lot about this exhibition is that all of you have tried to see Sita in different ways, in different forms. So here the Sita is shown as a Buddhist or as a Buddha or as a counterpart to Buddha, which is a very nice statement because she too was an enlightened person. So this is focusing upon that, emphasizing upon that. Sita is also following the postures of Buddha, everything like a Buddha, and even the symbol of his philosophy. Yes, and the Dhamma, the wheel, is the symbol of his philosophy, which is in the background. So it's very much like a very strong statement.
Yes, she writes, the painting is a fusion work of Hinduism and Buddhism and inspired by the Sita Amman temple of Sri Lanka. In the painting, goddess Sita is conceptualized as a power of purity, and peace, which is the need of the time. Kirti, very young woman, very young artist. I think lots of congratulations to you for drawing this. It doesn't matter, it just doesn't matter whether it's not a battle which we lose and we win. I think drawing this concept, carrying it out is a fabulous, fabulous work, right? Thank you so much, Kirti.
I'm making this exhibition very interesting.
Yes.
By choosing Sita.
We have three on this theme. Neha Pili, can we cover quickly? Agni Pariksha. She is saying Sita Ma with 10 heads in, and she is also a young mother in a very difficult situation where we have a very small child to take care of. Neha Pillai, 10 heads in Mithila. Sita Ma with her 10 heads in Mithila Madhuri style / while we know its Ravan with 10 heads is signifying a quality he possessed. Sita Ma symbolizes sacrifice, courage, purity, love, simplicity, power, nature, knowledge, prosperity and dedication. When she was asked to give the Agni Pariksha, it was not just her physical state, but all the attributes she possessed was put to test. I think this statement is the last line. Is something I had really loved immensely, and I thought, I should point out. And look at the hands she has, the eyes, the sleeping eyes and hands she's drawing.
In all the situations, Sita emerged. You put her to any kind of test, any kind of trial or hardship, she emerged. That's the power of her inner conviction. And that is the real power of every one of us. That helps us, guides us through life. See the symbol of that inner conviction.
Right. So, what about the color combination?
It's interesting because she has just used two colors very strongly, black and red, mostly black and red, and some green in the sap green background. These are interesting in terms of the kind of forms he had chosen for Sita, like showing Sita with 10 heads. I've never come across something. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Sita Rekha you get, Sita with 10 heads you get.
So see how many terminal, like how does a language
transform? Yeah.
Transform so strongly. So this also stands for this
transformative process. Because I think people were, kind of, it's the gaze, these are the allegations put to her. This is why she had to go through this.
Very questioning gaze,
Pointing, yeah. Everybody is, kind of trying to test her chastity, purity, how pure is she. And it was meant to...
The whole society,
Yeah,
questioning her, doubting.
Yes. And that's true even today.
She has portrayed something very interesting with, two heads this time and a lot of the top, and I think this is very interesting. She has done this. So the explanation, I think we can read later. She'll come, I think, and explain herself. Let's move on with the other artists.
But it's interesting in the sense that we're seeing, the faces in the movie, which is in just two colors, blue and orange, which makes it look very appealing. It's a different appeal. The color palette is very different in this painting, as if it is a unique interpretation. You look at it, and so many things put together with a different color palette, which is very interesting aspect. I mean, it stands out as something that's very pretty. It just stands out as something. That's
Is it not to paradise exotica, but truly interpretation, uses of symbolism as far as Sanskrit painting is concerned? And we have one of the very finest artists, or rather single breed I can say, in Tantric painting. Our pionage and Aspas teacher. Sajeev ji has made for us, especially for this exhibition, Vaidehi, who's fascinating. Sajeev ji explained himself.
ये पेंटिंग तो मैंने बनाया है, यहाँ मैंने ये सीता को दिखाया है। इसके बाद मैंने इनका ये सिंबल है, हम लोग का तांत्रिक पेंटिंग में ये सिंबल बनता है। और इसमें होता ये है, जो ये बीच वाले मध्य में ये देवी का पूजन होता है और बाकी जो पार्ट्स हैं उसमें अन्य देवी देवताओं का पूजन होता है। तो ये सिंबल है, इसलिए ये इसको हम तंत्र पेंटिंग भी मान सकते हैं। इसके बाद ये मैंने दर्शाया है, ये पावरफुल लेडीज होते हुए भी यहाँ ये लेडीज़ की भूमिका है। ये यहाँ धनुष भवन का मैंने दिखाया है। इसके बाद ये शादी का इनका ये है। इसके बाद इन्होंने जो लक्ष्मण रेखा क्रॉस किया है, इसका परिणाम इनको ये भुगतना पड़ा है। इसके बाद हम दिखाते हैं ये इतना पावरफुल था रावण, तो इसने जो ये गलत काम किया या जो भी बैड इंटेंशन था इसका परिणाम इसको ये भुगतना पड़ा। तो ये ह्यूमन साइकिल में होता है। आपको जब पावर आता है, आपका इगोइज्म बढ़ता है, तो आप कहाँ तक पहुँच जाते हैं, चाहे आप कितना भी शक्तिशाली कौन हो, आपको उसका परिणाम भुगतना पड़ेगा। तो ये तो ह्यूमन लाइफ है इन देवी का। अब हम आते हैं ये देवी थी को, ये देवी शक्ति की जन्मी है और ये हर चीज़ पूरा यूनिवर्स इसी में समाया हुआ एक तरह से कर सकता है। यूनिवर्स में संचालित कैसे करते हैं, तो ये महाकाली का रूप है। यहाँ मैंने ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश तीनों को इनकी आँख में दिखाया और ये दिखाने का तात्पर्य ये है कि ये सारी क्रियाएं जो करती हैं, ये शक्ति का जो संचार करती हैं या यूनिवर्स चलाती है, पालन संहार या सब जो है, तो ये इन्हीं तीनों देवता के मने माध्यम से करती है। फिर मैंने ये दिखाया है कि ये ब्रह्मा जी हैं, उनके साथ ये सरस्वती हैं, ये विष्णु है, उनके साथ ये लक्ष्मी है, ये महादेव है, जिनके साथ ये पार्वती है। फिर वो अर्धनारीश्वर की जो परिकल्पना है, ये उसमें भी ये प्रेजेंट है, राधा कृष्ण में भी ये राधा के रूप में है। फिर मैंने ये दिखाया जो साक्षात दुर्गा भी है, महालक्ष्मी भी है और महाकाली है। ये मेरा इंटरप्रिटेशन है सीता के और खास करके स्पेशली वैदेही का।
सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि ये अपने पिताजी की शैली में काम करते हैं। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण पक्ष यही है कि इनके पिताजी बहुत ही योग्य कलाकार थे। He was an able artist, but he never got recognition. That's a very sad thing for the art community. So it gives me lots of joy that he is continuing the tradition. He is painting in the same tradition. That's very significant. And the interesting thing is that he has chosen Devi as his subject. Few people have chosen this as a subject. Maybe you can count on your fingers. And he has also used the yantras which accompany a particular deity, a goddess, which is the basis of the tantric style. If there is a deity, there is a goddess, there is a yantra, which is the symbolic interpretation of that power, of that spiritual entity. It's a highly spiritual involvement, I guess. I think so. Very highly spiritual. So for that involvement, you need all these yantras as tools to discipline yourself, to utilize yourself, and then you have to reach the highest order of evolution. That's what the Tantra philosophy stands for. So I'm very glad that being the son of Mr. Krishnananda, who I loved a lot, he was a very nice man, very intelligent, and he was the man who would never bend before anyone. This quality I love. I too have the same, I can't bend. If you are very on good terms with me, we can work together for eternity. But if you show any signs of pettiness, rudeness, I will hardly give you a glance. Krishnananda had the same trait. I love him. Raymond Owens had chosen him for this quality. Because when he was going through the crisis, he was the only man who came forward to his aid. He was a nice man. And since Mr. Sanjeev ji is painting in the same style, it's good for all of us because if this style continues, then this style can also find its place represented everywhere as part of the art fraternity, art community. Because we paint in the line style, many people paint in different styles, now there are different styles. So in the same light, the tantric style should be given the same importance. And from that perspective, he is a prominent artist.
These are very significant words from I think a very eminent artist himself. And with that note, I would also like to add something. If Krishnanand ji contributes without bending his back and before whosoever, right, and continue despite difficulties, that's a pure, a good sign of, or actually sign of an artist. So, see, which is very, very important and significant, where he is actually basically career of a significant practice, a theme, and also a persona. In life, do not bend, do not start crawling when you are told to bend, right? So be yourself. So, and this beautiful tantric painting will come out when you have that spiritual, kind of glamour around you. Thank you so much. So next we have a very, very prolific, and she is all over, right? She is all over because she is Amrita Ravikumaran. Sir, please come in the frame. And here, I can do it. And Amrita Ravikumaran's painting is actually, I would say that's a significant, a very significant painting, especially for the organizers. Aesthetic beauty, art beauty, would decide by the artist and the artist herself. But the content and the way she portrayed. We actually had the same vision of Sita in our mind when we kind of tried to convey that Vaidehi is the most powerful entity. She is not weak, she is not a weakling. She is the most fascinating, most empowered woman this kind of continent or other continents, Southeast Asia. She has many performative elements around her, centered on her. So Vaidehi, actually she signified what we wanted to say to her art. And this is why this work was chosen on flyers, on posters, on backdrops. She is Amrita. Amrita Ravikumaran is everywhere, and now the artist will speak about her art.
So thank you so much for the opportunity, ma'am, and the organizers for giving platform to a lot of artists to promote the culture and tradition of our country. And I also would like to thank my teacher, Chandrakala Devi ma'am, for hand-holding me and teaching me. So to begin with, this painting, there's a prelude to the story, so I would like to begin with that. So we all know the story of Rama slaying Ravana. So after that, what happens is Rama, Sita, Lakshmana come back to Ayodhya, and they are celebrating victory over Ravana. At that moment, Sita laughs, and when she's reminded of a story she has heard in childhood about even more powerful evil force, Sahasravan, who is the elder brother of Ravana. So she says, until you slay him, you cannot establish peace in the world, and that is what needs to be done. Tell that you have done what you are born for. And then Rama takes up the challenge, and he comes to Pushkar, and with the entire army of Vanar and Ayodhya Sena, he tries to combat Sahasravan, but he is unable to win over him. With a single astra, the Vayu astra, Sahasravan blows the entire army. Even Rama is dumbstruck by the power. At that moment, Sita gets fierce. She takes the rupa of Mahakali and she slays Sahasravan. So this is the story of this painting, and as you can see in the painting, I have put Rama, Lakshmana and Maruti dumbstruck at witnessing Sita's fierce, boundless energy. No one would have thought that Sita could be so powerful, but to tell the truth, every woman in this country, in this world has such power. We need to open our eyes to witness that. So I have tried to portray that, and you can see she is pervading over land and sky. She is having sun and moon as her ornaments, and she is the creator, Sita, who is embodiment of the earth, and Mahakali, the destructor of evil. So I have tried to depict the dual forces of life that exist together always. So this is my take on painting. And my message is that if you understand Vaidehi, if you close your eyes, everyone can witness her Vishwarupa.
Thank you so much. I think this is what you were told to do, right? Close your eyes and imagine you're wedding.
Yeah.
That was a tagline that I always used to say. So, no, that's okay.
I'll stand this way. No problem.
I can come here with my news.
Let me say a few things about this.
Please.
The most beautiful thing about this painting is that it immediately invokes a few feelings about Sita. And it deserves to be on the poster. It is so immediate in its effect, in its treatment, in its color palette, everything. So immediate that is to be circulated everywhere. That's why very rightly Sita ji had chosen it for the poster. She says she is not an artist, but she is very smart, very intelligent, because she had chosen this. Because it in some, some unclear terms or weight reminds me something like MFC. That's the precision and the way he treats an image, a form, he doesn't explain it fully. He just keeps it incomplete, but he just deals with the element very strongly, very strongly. So these are the things are very nicely dealt with in this painting. That's why it got on the poster. Otherwise, that would have said, no, this is a children.
I'm not a cruel one. Also, this painting has a significance that while in fact getting introduced to the idea of Sita as a very strong, kind of, it has strong elements, Laldas Ramayana comes handy. Rameshwar Charit Laldas Ramayana has this entire Janki Kand, Pushkar Kand, where Janki takes over Ram in this Ravana thing. And then, so we have that kind of in our consciousness somewhere, right? Laldas Ramayana, I mean, did basically make a departure.
That's a good source for your roles.
Yes.
I should thank the person who introduced me, Savita.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Why it strikes me very importantly as a picture or as a painting is that it is so so strong and so smartly evocative that it said, I will not stay within the frame, let me go out everywhere. And she is so smart. She doesn't look. In her painting, she had chosen the red, the blue, the grey. Oh my God, if you learn from me, I'll turn you into an officer. Take my seriously.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know what STEM stands for. I perfectly know. And she unknowingly has used those elements very, very precisely. This is because when I saw the poster, I just kept thinking, who did this? Then I met her, and now I'm seeing the real work. It's good work. Good work in the sense, in a way it's very crisp, but I'm sure it will be very market friendly. She goes on, continuing this style, very consciously, strong.
And I will become your commission agent. My commission would be 50%, not less than that. Thank you so much. So many good reflections I've got. Can we move to the other? Who is those who are present in person? They are given a priority to explain their paintings. I'm famishing. Anyway, so this is Arpita Desai is another spectacular, I would say, presentation. And since we have the artist with us, she'll explain herself what she painted. Arpita Desai.
Yeah, so she is my Vaidehi, and she is sitting in her sadhana position. And this chakra on her head, it indicates how anxious she is when she is in Ashok Vatika waiting for Sri Ram. But then she has to be strong to fight her battle when she is alone also. So the sadhana thing is the only thing which could help her to stay calm and cool. And this her aura, with the sadhana, she created this aura which could keep Ravana away from her. We have seen in Ramayana that physically Ravana was killed by Ram, but emotionally his ego and his pride, everything was destroyed by Sita because she didn't give him a single chance to come close to her. So that is what I have tried to show her, a strong aura which kept Ravana away from her, and because of that his ego was completely destroyed. And he was very sure that even if he defeats Ram, he will not be able to get Sita after that. So this is what I have tried to show in my painting.
Then we have Trijata also.
Yes,
Is she Trijata?
Yeah, she's Trijata.
I think none of the paintings we have Trijata. So two very strong women, you know. Trijata, though belonging to the Ravana's camp, I think was very empathetical to Sita's plight.
Yeah, and she was also said to be that she was also a Ram, though she was staying in Ashok and working for Ravana, but then she always was in favor of Sita, and she always helped her emotionally when she was alone in Ashok.
This is what you have put here, right?
Yes, that is why only she is there and I have not put anybody else, because this is her strength. And this basically the chakra what indicates is that how anxious she is, that she has to look strong though she is a little bit scared also.
It's a very nice word, and what I would like to say is the aura is an important aspect of this painting. Whenever a person becomes a spiritual entity, he or she carries an aura which is known as halo. It's very nicely interpreted here. In this very painting, it is the highlight of the painting. The aura is the highlight. And what she says about Sita, about her strong character, which is a very fascinating element, is even Ravan would have won the battle. Sita would have never given any I can say chance to come closer to him. So Sita first defeated him. Rama killed him later, but he was first defeated by Sita. That's the important point of this theme, and that's also a very strong element of character, the determinism. She was determined that she would never give in to Ravana's tricks, strategies, anything else. Whatever he wanted to do, he could do. She would never give in. So this is a strong, theme as an element of a strong character. If you want to be a strong person, you have to honor this quality inside you. Only then you can go ahead in your life, overcoming problems, difficulties, and I'm sure you will stay calm all through. That's what Sita represents. And even pictorially, she has just dealt one thing very, very nicely. That is the halo and the central character. So it is very simple and very simply describes a few things like Trijata, the female guard, was really very nice to see, very caring, very caring. That was very nice about Trijata. And the Ravana, who was a defeated soul, he was already defeated. That gives a very clear idea of the meaning of defeat and and win. Who wins and who gets defeated. He was already defeated by Sita first and later killed by Rama. But this has not been made clear in any of the words.
No, it has been.
It has been.
Yes.
Okay.
Laldas Ramana Pushkar, after there is an episode, because this is 8th chapter which Laldas has added, and there is this episode where Sita actually challenges Ram, saying that the Ravan which you have killed was already killed by me. So what good have you done? I mean, how brave are you when you actually killed a person whom I had already kind of killed? So clearly there are lines, there are chapais, there are dohas. So she actually tells Ravan, this is this episode, that जिस रावण को आप मार करके आ रहे हैं और इतना विजय उत्सव मना रहे हैं, उस रावण को तो मैंने कब का मार दिया था, because once he had tried to enter the chamber, yes, chamber, so she had actually killed him. So वो कहती है कि जिस रावण को आप मार कर जश्न मना रहे हैं, उस रावण को मैं बहुत पहले मार चुकी हूँ. Now go and kill Sahasra Ravan. who is in sitting in पुष्कर द्वीप, तो पुष्कर द्वीप भेजती है और फिर जो स्टोरी है वो आप अमृता केस में देखेंगे। जो आगे की स्टोरी है वो कैसे उसको मारती हैं, that अमृता रवि कुमार carries on. So thank you so much for doing this exceptional work, I believe. Right, very nice. And Trijita's presence is phenomenal. I think none of the works Trijita is shown as. Do we have Trijita in any of the works? As a no.
Yes. Could find Sita. So being a
Sita's friend. Yes.
Being a demon, she was so nice and so caring, which is a typical human quality of course, with which you will balance. So even being a demon, she was kind to
Thank you so much, everyone. This painting is being drawn. That's very tragic. I will just say this is very tragic, a situation which I will not like to talk about. This is very personal to Ruchi. But this artist has gone through I think, the tragedy, which was shocking to me, and yet, to come out of that shock, she completed this painting. She drew Sita, Vaidehi, believing that probably, it would actually lessen that trauma which she was undergoing, which is a very personal trauma. I will not like to talk about that. So, next we have Nivedita Jha. Do we have Nivedita Jha here? She'll talk about herself. She's a very young artist, and also what she has painted, I mean, to me is, kind of, this is actually making a departure point as far as thematically, kind of drawing that theme is concerned. Nivedita, you can start on what you have drawn.
Hi everyone. This is the menstruation cycle that every woman goes through in her life. So this is Vaidehi attaining puberty. This was the theme of my painting, set by Sita ma'am. She's really good at giving themes. So I attempted this for the first time on Madhubani painting. And yeah, so this issue has, I feel, never been addressed in terms of any religious sense, wherein the puberty function of the goddess has been discussed. So I tried to bring it out through my painting, when being such a common topic that every woman goes through, but this has not come out, so I have just tried to bring it down for my painting.
This painting we have titled jointly Rajaswala, right? And her question was, as a young woman, why do we have to look at Sita only post-marriage? What was before her marriage, right? What was she doing? How was she like? Because she was, she must be living a life of an ordinary woman. A woman goes through puberty, that's a fact, right? And then I think these bamboos are shown to represent that now she is a person capable of reproduction. Because bamboos usually are please.
Bamboos are a symbol of reproductive cycle. So it keeps on growing, and that is the symbol that it shows.
And I would like to mention here a work. I think Vidula Sinha ji, she is no more with us. And also mention a few things about the artists, those who are involved, and especially in chapter 2. They have read a lot. They have read a lot of books. They always seemed eager. And I think 20-25 works, articles, books, continuously. And I used to get tired and angry, but they kept asking for more and more and more. They wanted to know about Sita. When we have a crisis of, death of reading culture, globally, nobody would like to read these days. These young artists, these young women, would like, they were thirsty for to know. So in that light, I would like to mention a work, Vidula Sinha's work, Sita Puni Bajli, which is in Hindi. Spoke again, yes. So Sita Puni Boli, and that has been Hindi. It was written in Hindi, and that was translated in Maithili. She is a prolific. She's no more with us, Vidula Sinha ji, and she was governor of Goa. A very good author, very seasoned author, in fact, I would say. And in her work, I have read a very detailed, in fact, a description of when Sita attains puberty, how she's kept in a room, pampered, being taken care of, her hair is open, and all those very graphic. But there is a catch. We wanted this episode, in fact, especially as a whatever you call me of this exhibition, we wanted this episode to be featured, but not an anatomical description of the the episode, that particular episode, we were very careful of the aesthetics with which we attach this very important, very significant, period of a woman's life. So, sir would say more about this.
What I would like to say about this word is what I feel very personally about it. The red color, the browns in the background represent something painful, something hard, which a woman goes through and which a woman attends also later. But what gives me lots of hope about this work is that despite lots of problems, there is lots of hope also. And these greens stands for hope. That's the most beautiful thing in this painting. See, there's lots of hard thing around Sita or below Sita, but there's lots of green color around Sita. That means Sita has good days ahead.
And also, this is my first attempt on Madhubani painting. This is really special to me.
No, that's
very special to me as well.
So that's interesting. You have hard times, and once hard times are over, there are good days ahead. So the reproduction power initially may bring some pain to a woman. I don't know in that sense like a woman. So maybe painful, maybe mentally challenging fate. But once you come out of that fate, you are wonderful, cheerful, lovely, effervescent.
Effervescent, yes.
See, these colors represent that.
Yes.
Especially
There
the
is
greens.
also a special ritual which happens in our society. Aslis also have a very kind of grand ritual around how women bathe on the last day of when first time a girl attends puberty. जब वो पहली बार रजस्वला होती हैं, तो हमारी समाज में एक असम में भी बहुत जगहों पे है, बहुत सारे जो पुरानी जो संस्कृति के जो समाज है, वहाँ पर उनको बाथ दिया जाता है, उनको स्नान कराया जाता है. एक रिचुअल होता है जहाँ पूरे समाज को बताया जाता है कि now this girl is kind of graciously fit for kind of reproduction. She's so that's a kind of a declaration also, that ritual. I love this ritual actually, which sadly and unfortunately is dying in the new breed, and rather puberty is becoming a taboo, which is very baffling. That's a very significant and important part of our life, which we used to relish, in fact enjoy, engage with. Now that has been kind of turning into a taboo. I do not know whether we are progressing or retrogressing. That's my take. Dilip Puranik is there, whose painting is very significant. Dilip Puranik is a very seasoned, I will not say old, very mature artist, right? So as I myself am growing old, I am scared of the word old. I never use that. Fine. So very dynamic artist, very dynamic and very, I think temperamentally he is one of the finest person I have dealt with. Also that kind of surrounded with many Vaidehis. Here is one artist who is a male, like Sanjeev ji or Bhagwan Thakur ji, Dilip Puranik ji. So we had quite kind of rigorous exchange of ideas, what he wanted to paint, and then he decided on showcasing Sita in a Tapaswini avatar, where Sita is actually deserting all the palaces, comfort, luxuries, and moving out, going out, because that was her own decision. Nobody had told her to go to Banvas, fine. So for Ram it was a Banvas, for Sita it was a chosen one, right? It was her decision. So she is going on and deserting her ornaments and dropping her things, everything, and becoming a Tapaswini. I think this is a fantastic portrait. Dilip Puranik ji, if you are hearing us, a big salute to you, and the way you believed and the way you acted, जल्दी से फिर सब कुछ करके, और इतने प्यारे हैं वो, इतने प्यारे हैं. I mean, I think I really loved him, while working, kind of on this project. Thank you. So I think, do we have artists whose work is here? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So let's quickly move on to. Are you?
Start.
और सीता माता को मैं अपना ही छवि दे रही हूँ, जो मैं सोचती हूँ वही मैंने इनका टाइटल दिया है, स्वयं सीता eligion। भूमिजा कहो या कहो वैदेही, स्वतंत्र निर्णय ले समागले भूमि जनक दुलारी। ऐसे लोग किसी भी नारी को बेचारी कहने में बहुत खुश होते हैं, उससे मुझे भी बहुत लगता है। और सीता माता भी जो है वो कभी बेचारी थी नहीं, तो उन्होंने अपना सारा स्वतंत्र निर्णय लिया था, चाहे स्वयंवर से धरती में समाने तक का था, और उन्होंने अपने पूरे कर्तव्य को जितना निष्ठा से किया और इतनी अच्छी सोच थी कि जो धरती माता थी वो पूरे तैयार होकर सीता माता को खुद धरती में समाने के लिए मेरे मन से जो मैं सोचती हूँ वो खुद उनको देने के लिए आई और वो सहर्ष धरती में समाने।
बहुत अच्छा ख्याल इस पेंटिंग के बारे में। महिलाओं को कभी बेचारी की तरह ना देखें, और सच में कोई भी व्यक्ति इस तरह से बेचारा या बेचारी नहीं होता है, और सीता तो कभी थी नहीं, उनको दिखाया गया है ऐसा, वो ऐसी है। She was a very powerhouse.
Yes, absolutely. I think we have a very significant thank you on Priya ji. She is also my senior. So she always used to dominate me. So let me tell you that. Now we have a very significant painting from Ranjana Kumari ji, or also called they used to print down story. I hope everybody knows about it. That Sita had done the Pindadan in absence of Rama and Lakshman when they had gone to purchase things for stuff for Pindadan, which was due on before Dashrath. And it was getting kind of delayed, and sunset was coming, and after sunset we can't Pindadan. So Sita was there, and Dashrath was asking for that pin, and she chose to actually. These are the episodes which tells us a lot. She didn't care that she is a woman. Women traditionally do not do Pindadan. Yet Sita chose and saw that Dashrath was asking for that pin and tide is getting over. So she did the needful, right, according to her own ways. So she always, has a new path. This is something. So Ranjana Kumari, a very seasoned artist, very quiet woman who speaks very softly, right? And while we were discussing, what she wants to paint, so I asked her, which episode from Sita's life you love the most, right? So tell me about it. And then we will discuss, and then of course, she is a very prolific artist. I don't need to tell her that what you do and how do you do. In many cases, I have to do that also, despite being a non-artist. So all the follies are mine also, right? So Ranjana ji made that Sita ka sharp thing, here is a pandit, and I think especially I love the idea. Otherwise, Ranjana ji does all her work in only red. This is the first time Ranjana ji has moved out upon my insistence, because I refused that though that would have been another marvel, that Sita's shot done only in red. So I must clarify that she has moved from a style of painting, because she usually does all her paintings, whatever she paints, in only red. This first time she doesn't use black, but this time she has used black, and kind of thematically it was her choice. She was fascinated by the story. She has done. So that's Ranjana Kumari for us. I think Sir's take on that.
I take it on that. They also marginalized.
Yeah.
In a sense, marginalized. Because the daughter performs the Pindadan, which is the daughter-in-law, which is a son is supposed to do. So in that sense, it's a very strong, I can say, statement that a daughter is no less than a son.
So before we take a talk about, she talks about her painting herself, I would like to say a few things. I think she also, she started as a bubbly young woman. She wanted to participate and started. But in the meantime, she actually had a very tragic, kind of situation at her home. So it's not only that she has painted what is fascinating to me, right? She also she has overcome. And exceptional way she has tried to send this painting to me, putting me under a lot of stress. Please note it. But I was so glad and desperate when she showed me the, the final work, working overnight for it, 8-10 hours, that I said, "Kuch bhi hai, bhej do bas, please." So what she has painted, I do not know. She will talk about herself.
वेदेही। यहाँ पे आप देखिएगा कि मैंने अपने वेदेही में लिप्स नहीं दिया है। अगर एक तरह से देखा जाए ना तो लिप्स नहीं देने का मतलब सब सोचेंगे हाँ उन्होंने कुछ बोला ही नहीं, कहीं कुछ बोला ही नहीं। लेकिन अगर उनका सबसे बड़ा स्ट्रेंथ था तो कुछ नहीं बोला। वो हर सिचुएशन में ना इतने कामली, इतने शांति से उन्होंने हर चीज़ को अच्छे से फेस किया। जैसे वो कर एक हर लेडीज़ का अगर देखा जाए ना तो बोलती नहीं, सिर्फ सहती हैं या उस चीज़ को कैसे सॉल्व करना है उनको वो पता है। लेकिन वो हमेशा एक हल्ला करके बोलने वाला काम उनसे नहीं होता है। तो यहाँ पे हम ना देख रहे हैं कि उनका मैंने लिप्स नहीं दिया है, लेकिन आप देखिएगा हाथ में ना अड़हुल फ्लावर में ना मैंने अड़हुल को ही इसलिए बनाया है क्योंकि वो ही एक हर सीज़न में ना आपको अड़हुल फूल मिलेगा ही कोई भी सीज़न। लेकिन यहाँ पे जैसे हमारी वेदेही हैं वो भी जैसे हर सिचुएशन को अच्छे से हैंडल करती रही। हर चीज़ को जिस चीज़ में बहुत अच्छे लोग हैंडल नहीं कर पाएंगे और बहुत ज़्यादा टेंशन में आ जाएंगे उसमें भी वो बिल्कुल काम रही जैसे उनको रहना चाहिए। हम देखते हैं अगर वेदेही यहाँ पे अग्नि परीक्षा भी हुआ था वो किसके कारण, रावण जी ने ना इनकी लाइफ में जहर घोला है अच्छे से देखा जाए तो इसलिए यहाँ पे रावण के साथ मैंने यहाँ पे नाग भी बनाया सिंबल के। और यहाँ पे आप बैक साइड में, अभी मैं साइड वाले फेस को रहने देती हूँ, यहाँ पे हम साइड में देखते हैं तो आपको दिख रहा होगा कि सीता जी का स्वयंवर वाला बस एक सीन है जहाँ पे ना फ्लावर पूरा अच्छे से वेलकम किया गया था, वो स्माइल के साथ है यहाँ पे। और फिर हम दूसरे साइड देखते हैं ना तो वो धरती में समा रही, मतलब उनका जो अंत है। और यहाँ पे लाइफ जो बहुत खुशहाल स्टार्ट हुआ था वो अंत इस तरीके से हुआ था। लेकिन उन सब में इस पीरियड में इनका साथ, उनका सपोर्ट अगर किसी ने दिया था और अच्छा रोल, अच्छा चाहे बुरा अगर रोल निभाया था ना तो वो केकई इम्पोर्टेंट रोल, राम जी, हमारे विश्वामित्र, और यहाँ पे हनुमान जी, लक्ष्मण जी और धोबी। यहाँ पे जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट रोल किसी ने उनके लाइफ में निभाया था वो ये लोग थे। तो मैंने इनको अच्छे से अरेंज करने की कोशिश किया है। और इससे मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी जैसे सीता जी बिल्कुल मौन रह के अपनी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व की हैं और जैसे वो अच्छे से हैंडल की थी वैसे हर लेडीज़ आज भी कर रही हैं और आगे भी करेंगी।
Thank you so much, Aditi. So before we have the expert's opinion, I would like actually to translate a few things from ma'am. We are fortunate that she is actually listening. Arhul flower, she talks about. Hibiscus flower. Her explanation is that hibiscus is for all seasons. It's not that that's a seasonal flower. So that's a conscious choice she has made for hibiscus, right? Arhul flower. She doesn't mourn silence, so she hasn't given her lips. So she says that the way we endure pain, the way we kind of live with the pain without making much noise or without speaking. So that's an asset, that's a strength which we have because we endure that, right? Second thing, I think the characters she has named characters in her life, significant characters in her life, she explained. And what was the significant thing?
Wedding and end.
Okay, wedding and two are the, she has juxtaposed two prominent episodes from her life. Yes, sir, please.
मैं जो कहूँगा इसके बाद what I would like to say about this word is like Amrita, this Amrita, she too has developed a very unique style. If you really work on this style, really in a very true sense, in a true sense, you will become a very powerful artist, like me. Honestly, that you have to work very hard. And the other thing is, other thing which fascinates me a lot is that one thing which is very common between you and your images, all of them have very telling eyes. She has very telling eyes, evocative eyes. So do her images have. That's the common, her eyes and the eyes in those, the characters. So you could become really a very strong person if you work on this style. Why you paint in this manner? It's a very artistic question for you. क्योंकि आपका सबसे अलग हो रहा है, अपनी दोनों चुनेंगे आप चुनते येलो एंड ब्लैक और इस तरह से जो आपने सबको असेंबल किया है अराउंड सीता, ये बहुत पावरफुल है। इन लोगों ने tried to put Sita to all kinds of tests. इस तरह से आप कह रहे हैं, तो वो बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन मुझे ये यूनिक लग रहा है। आप अगर ठीक से काम करें तो आप बहुत अच्छे डिजाइनर बन सकते हैं। न हो सकता है ना, तो निकालना पड़ता। सभी लोग काम करें निकालते हैं, ऐसा थोड़ी है कि आपने इतना किया। जहाँ तक डिस्कशंस के बाद या जो भी आप
she is the artist. I have tried to actually push her for other themes, and this is also significant of this woman. I would like to stress here. I was being pushy with her. Do this, and do it this way. I think she had her last words, and she told me, "You'll be amazed when I paint." Yes.
ये अच्छा है क्योंकि आप कुछ भी यूनिक करते हैं, something of its own.
She has lot of self-confidence in her, and she tried to put me away in my place. That lady, I know my job. Leave me, right? And you'll be amazed when I show you the. So unfortunately, in between she was stuck with a kind of grave tragedy, but she has pulled on, and here she is standing with a painting, laughing. She has come all the way from Saharsa for this exhibition. Thank you so much.
आकृति झा का काम बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन आकृति झा बहुत काम कर रही है, तभी कुछ हो जाएगा।
और डेडलाइंस को मीट करना है, ऑर्गेनाइजर को पुश नहीं करना है और उसको जीने देना है। We have just this is the last one we are doing along with Anushri Mehta. I think I'll say, of course, my muse almost, my favorite, my child, Pooja Kumari. This child has done, I think, a very significant work where she has basically merged Buddha and Sita into one frame, one single frame she has. And you know how she revered by, Buddha is also revered, I think, across continents a lot, right? He has a large following, and so is Sita. And this is how beautifully, kind of, she has merged these two figures, and kind of the ambience, the sound of this. Every painting has a sound. This sound is something I got when I first saw. I was totally speechless. So that's Pooja Kumari's Buddha and Janki into one. So, and the reverence which people do, I think people are worshipping both of them, asking for rules, etc. So Ashok Vatika she has painted, and then Buddha. So merger of these two cult figures, I would say, icons into one. This is a prolific work by Pooja Kumari. Bless you, Pooja. Bye bye.
Yes, it's good to liken Sita to Buddha because Sita was also enlightened, Buddha was also enlightened. Buddha had a huge following. She too had in a way, and if she highlights that aspect of Sita, which was always, I think, ignored by people. We just take it as a shadow of Ram. So she wants to say, Sita is like Buddha, and we should look at her in that light. So thematically, it's a very strong idea. Buddha was seated under a people tree. She too is seated under a Asoka tree,
For a very long span of life.
Yes, for a very long span.
The tree is common.
Yes. So the tree is common. The quality of other composure, and purity, perseverance, humility, compassion. They both represent very holy.
And they both are extremely relevant to us. I mean, they have the message for peace, and still, we can count upon them to get, message for the future. This is something very significant about both these icons, religious icons. Thank you. Last one. Oh no, she's from Germany. Anushri Datta, you have her.
No, it's not there.
It must be in my phone. Where is my phone? Can I have my phone? Quickly. The episode of Sukha and Sukhi from Sita's life, and how by the parrot's curves. So that is another significant painting. Just give me 1 minute. Says, my Vaidehi is a connection between Hinduism and Buddhism. She brings the two religions and the cultures of India and Sri Lanka together. She is placed in a Buddhist monastery and stands tall and resilient. Her virtue always growing. She is so benevolent that even her tears collected never dries. and is a source of life. This reference is taken from a pond in Sri Lanka where it is believed to have emerged from Sita's tears. Sita's Ilaya? Sita Ilaya? Is that pond? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So that pond, we have a pond in Sri Lanka.
Maybe, but I know there's a stream by Sita Elia where she was. So we call it Sita Elia. So it may be referring to that.
Okay. So she is placed in a Buddhist monastery and stands tall. This reference is taken from a pond in Sri Lanka where it is believed to have emerged from Sita's tears. The pillar for this monastery are some teachings of Buddha's, which is very close to Vaidehi's life. Buddha taught to have a perfect balance of mental and physical strength, and Janki is the best example for it. As she was resilient and benevolent, a persona of strength, the top panel has all her life stories where she showed her physical and mental strength. Wow. So the color scheme of this painting and the orientation is something very interesting. And this woman has read a lot, Anushri Datta. Before she decided her giving me nightmares always, thank you Anushri. So she took a lot of time to ponder, study, read, I think research, and then she has chosen her topic.
I like this panel very much because this has the Sujini effect. Everything there in the red has that Sujini effect, and since it has a very good story to relate to. So good.
So I think with this we end today's eminent artist, the one who has offered us to do this walkthrough, and also I would like to thank my judge, my jury, Jennifer Maragoda ma'am, who has kind of stood throughout, and which is exceptional. This shows her dedication, commitment, and love for this entire theme, this exhibition, and we will be greatly indebted, ma'am, forever. Thank you.
इधर से पेंटिंग में दिख रही है।
शुरुआत में नहीं सूरत में था, दूसरा मार्क्स खरीद नहीं रहा था, वो जो क्या लगा रहता था।
तो कितने मास्क बनाए होंगे आपने कोरोना से अब तक?
कोरोना से अब तक 10-12 हज़ार।
10-12 हज़ार, अरे वाह। 10-12 हज़ार मास्क एक बाय हैंड बनाना वो अद्भुत चीज़ है। आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम सोहन प्रिया।
तो आपने बना के सेल किए पूरे सब जगह?
सेल फैक्ट्री में भी सारा कुछ किया।
अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा किया, बहुत अच्छा योगदान रहा आपका। नाम बताइए।
मेरा नाम संदीप कुमार का है।
हाँ।
मैं संदीप कृष्ण का लड़का हूँ और कांतिक पेंटिंग मेरे पिताजी बनाते थे।
अच्छा।
इसी को मैं फॉलो कर रहा हूँ।
हाँ।
इसमें मैंने एक काली बनाया है। अच्छा। काली के साथ मैंने मत्स्यावतार विष्णु का ये बनाया, यंत्र सहित बनाया है। अच्छा। और इसमें मैंने फाइन लाइन में काम किया।
ये पेंटिंग में,
इस पेंटिंग में मैंने इसका आप बैकग्राउंड देख रहे होंगे, इसमें अर्धनारीश्वर का यंत्र बना हुआ है पीछे कलर में, और इसके ऊपर में मैंने लाइन बनाए हैं, और लाइन के बेली में पेट में हमने केवल स्नेक्स बनाए हैं। तो इसके मेरी ये है इसमें परिकल्पना, जो पार्वती जो है सो शेर की सवारी करती थी, तो वो शक्तिशाली थे, या महादेव जो बैल की सवारी करते थे वो शक्तिशाली थे। और आजकल वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट से बहुत बात होती है, तो इसी से समझा जा सकता है कि बीच में कुछ न कुछ तो गड़बड़ी हुई, क्योंकि जो पावरफुल थी आज उनको एम्पावरमेंट करने की बात चल रही है। तो ये बात है। दूसरी बात ये है, जो मैंने सिंह के पेट में जो स्नेक दिखाया है, यहाँ पारिवारिक बात ये है, एक औरत कितनी समस्याओं का सामना करके पारिवारिक समस्याओं का वो अंदर ही अंदर समन करती रहती है, लेकिन एक सिंह की तरह अडिग दिखती है। लेकिन वो कितनी समस्याओं का सामना करती है वो वही जानती है। यही मेरा इस पेंटिंग के पीछे है। ये पेंटिंग मैंने नवदुर्गा का बनाया है। एक श्लोक है, प्रथमं शैलपुत्री च द्वितीयं ब्रह्मचारिणी तृतीयं चंद्रघंटेति पुष्पाण्डेति चतुर्थं पंचमं स्कंदमातेति षष्ठं कात्यायनी च सप्तमं कालरात्रि सप्तमं कालरात्रि महागौरी की चाष्टमं नवमं सिद्धार्थी च नवदुर्गा प्रतिष्ठिता। ये नवदुर्गा का वर्णन है, उनका मैंने यह सही चित्रण किया है और इसमें मैंने उसके साथ साथ दशावतार का भी चित्रण कर दिया है।
अच्छा, नवदुर्गा भी है और दशावतार
भी है, लेकिन नवदुर्गा का यह सही चित्रण
यहाँ से ऐसे शुरू है।
हाँ।
एक
दुर्गा सप्तती के आधार पे बनाया है। दुर्गा सप्तती में 13 चैप्टर्स हैं और 13 में भगवती का ध्यान पहले, उसके बाद इन्होंने किसकी हत्या की, उसके माने कैसे की, वो सब डिटेल है। लेकिन 13 में ध्यान है, तो मैंने उसी ध्यान को रख करके देवी दुर्गा के विभिन्न रूपों का इसमें निरूपण किया है यंत्र के साथ। यही
13 अध्याय है उसमें।
हाँ, 13 अध्याय है और 13
हाँ, मैंने पढ़ी है ना, इसलिए बता।
13 में ध्यान है।
हाँ,
इस पेंटिंग में मैंने प्रकृति को दिखाया है। ये बेर है, उसमें ये रोमनस हैं, मंकीज हैं और ये पीकॉक है और नीचे में तालाब है और उसमें डलती में मछली है, स्नेक्स है, टॉर्टवाइज। इस पेंटिंग में मैंने राधा कृष्ण का निरूपण किया है और जैसे कि नॉर्मली सब कलाकार करते हैं, तो उसी तरह मैंने राधा कृष्ण को बनाने की चेष्टा की। लेकिन इसकी स्पेशलिटी ये है, जो कोई भी यंत्र तो नहीं बनाते हैं, तो राधा कृष्ण का एक सिर्फ यंत्र है ये, तो मैंने यंत्र का निरूपण किया। ये ग्राफिक पेंटिंग आप इसको कह सकते हैं, क्योंकि मैंने इसको यंत्र के साथ यहाँ दो रंग देने का यही कारण है। ये राधा कृष्ण का सिंबल हो गया और ये इनका तो यंत्र है ही, और ऊपर में मैंने राधा कृष्ण बनाया है। आपका मैं अपन बहुत राधा कृष्ण से इंट्रोडक्शन बहुत गाना है आपका
शुरू।
कृष्ण आंचल मेरी छोड़ दो इस घड़ी, जमुना में मेरी फिसल जाएगी। कृष्ण आंचल मेरी छोड़ दो इस घड़ी, जमुना में मेरी फिसल जाएगी। हर घड़ी आपकी छेड़ अच्छी नहीं, मेरी कोमल कलाई मचल जाएगी। मेरी नाजुक कलाई मचल जाएगी। मैं तो घर से चली थी यही सोच कर, अभी आती हूँ जमुना से जल भर कर। मेरे प्यारे मोहन बड़ी जोड़ी न कर, कोई देखे तो इज्जत उतर जाएगी। कृष्ण आंचल मेरी छोड़ दो इस घड़ी, जमुना में मेरी फिसल जाएगी। हर समय आपकी छेड़ अच्छी नहीं, मेरी नाजुक कलाई मचल जाएगी। हाय क्या किया तूने ये गजरा मेरी, फीकी कर डाली नैनों की गजरा मेरी। हाय क्या किया तूने ये गजरा मेरी, फीकी कर डाली नैनों की गजरा मेरी। मेरे मोहन मेरे प्यारे कान्हा कुंवर, मेरी सखियाँ तो आगे निकल जाएगी। कृष्ण आंचल मेरी छोड़ दो इस घड़ी, जमुना में मेरी फिसल जाएगी। कृष्ण आंचल मेरी छोड़ दो इस घड़ी, जमुना में मेरी फिसल जाएगी। हर समय आपकी छेड़ अच्छी नहीं, कोई देखे तो इज्जत उतर जाएगी। नमस्कार, हम लोग मिथिलांचल से हैं और मिथिलांचल में शादी विवाह में गोबर का एक बहुत बड़ा महत्व है। शादी विवाह में दूल्हा दुल्हन के रूप में यह चित्रांकन किया जाता है। विवाह में शादी के उपरांत दूल्हा दुल्हन घर आते हैं तो वहाँ बैठकर पूजा होता है, तो इसे कोहबर कहा जाता है। और हर एक दुराग्रह रूम में लगाया जाता है। तो कोहबर के ऊपर मैंने एक थीम बनाया कोहबर, उसके ऊपर एक गाना होता है, यहाँ का ट्रेडिशन है, तो मैं एक कोहबर आपको सुना रहा हूँ। रचिए रचिए को खलिए मन मोहलनी दुल्हा रचिए रचिए को खलिए मन मोहलनी दुल्हा चारू का मधुबनी पेंटिंग में मैंने डोली का हार का चित्र बनाया है। माँ जानकी को ससुराल डोली में विदा किया जाता है, जिसे हम लोग मैथिली भाषा में दुरागमन कहते हैं और हिंदी में विदाई कहा जाता है। शादी के बाद बेटी का जो विदाई होता है वो पुराने ज़माने में, पहले के समय में यातायात की सुविधा नहीं थी, तो डोली का हार में माफा बोलते उससे विदाई होता है। उसी चित्र को मैंने मधुबनी पेंटिंग में उकेरा है और आप लोगों के सामने रखा है। इसको डोली का हार बोलते हैं। तो एक दुरागमन होता है, उसमें दुल्हन को बैठा करके दोनों तरफ आगे पीछे दो का हार कंधे पे लेकर चलते हैं। इस अवसर का हम लोग मिथिलांचल में एक गाना शमदान बोलते हैं, इसको शमदान, विदाई के गाने को शमदान बोलते हैं। तो मैं एक बेटी के विदाई का गाना आपको प्रस्तुत करता हूँ। बड़ी जतन साम सिया दिया पोसलाऊं से हो दिया राम ने जान आरे बड़े जतन साम सिया दिया पोसलाऊं सिया दिया पोसलाऊं से हो दिया राम ने जान